know. I'm very well aware. Long pauses, just moments of consideration. Even though technically you can still hear me go. Doing his exercise. Okay? Doing his exercise. Let's just say that. He's doing his exercise. He's getting good. He's having fun. He's having fun. His little thing. Yep, you're alive. Finally. Finally. Now, hopefully, we don't have a bajillion other things that go wrong. We are officially live. Live now. Features Mr. Stumpy Cut. Clay Shark. Whoops. And the squid. That's not how you do it. Oopsie. Yay. Well, I hope it's epic finale. No. This does not mean to do that. It's epic finale. We good? Yeah, we still good. Okay. Yeah, I restarted my iPad and now it's working. You never know when something's gonna work. Something's gonna go crazy and something. We're alive. We are alive. And I can see you. I can see that I'm not on the right screen. Now aren't I? Once again, go to Unforeseen Danger. We do not want to go to Blindsided because that's a project I'm working on and I'm not ready to share it yet. Why? Because it ain't done. It's not done. So why would I share something that's not done? Exactly. The point. You wouldn't want to share something that's not done. And if it's not done, like, I'm going to wait a little bit. It's not done. Yeah. Sharing is caring. Yep. Yeah. I'm going to probably be reading 11 chapters today. Well, hopefully. Finally live. Yep. Struggling? It's understandable. Life is hard. When you're just... Oh gosh. That... Do not fall asleep, sir. No, I do not want to copy the link, I'm sorry. Just deleting all my failed attempts, oh boy. I've got 4. Not a bajillion, but I got 4. No, I don't want to copy the link, sorry. I'm sorry, but I don't want to copy the link. Like, okay. Ugh. I hope YouTube is like, ah! YouTube is not like that. I mean, it's pretty. You have to understand. It's not showing up on here, so I'm assuming it's okay. It's like I struggled. It's like, oh my, I'm playing a new video. Nope. Yep, we officially are live. And yeah. I haven't gotten anything. Yeah, don't worry about the thumbnail. I'll worry about it later. Don't worry about it. I'm not going to worry about it right now, so you shouldn't either. Right? Yeah, I also have a light on because I was trying to use Streamlabs. But turn it off quick. Whoa. Scroll down. Oh, that's too far. 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 Ah, too far. Don't read it. Don't read it. Okay. I freaked out a little bit. It's okay. 25. There we go. That is where we ended it off. I will be momentarily going up to bed to turn off the light, because it's up on the loft where I reside. It's really hot up here. Ugh. And then it gets really hot down there. And we're okay. We're okay. Good. I think we're good. We ready? I guess. I got the two main spots that I wanted to do anyway. Something more. You really don't have to. It'd be cool, but it's like 7 o'clock for them. They might be doing something. That's fine. 25. This is going to be an interesting actory. I just call it actory because it all happens pretty quickly. Not a few chapters, but it's a big one. If I do have to split it up, I'll split it up. And it won't technically be a finale. It depends on how much I want to read today. I wanted to read it all the way through, but we'll see. We'll see. Chapter 25. Days had passed since Nettie and Martin had returned home. During that time, the helpers, Squid, Squishy, and he, Sam, helped Stampy during building new builds. My neck just cracked. Finishing the incomplete project and playing new games with one another. It was both fun and interesting. And the boy certainly still found himself learning from his YouTuber friends. The boy stood by the base of the building that they were currently working on, keeping a lookout in case there were any threats that could occur. So far, the day seemed just as calm and peaceful as it had been the day before. But the boy would not risk letting his guard down for even a moment. But as he stood there, listening to his friends working and talking, simply having a good time, he felt content knowing just how far his friend had come, only in a few days. Perhaps he was hiding his true feelings well, or perhaps he really was trying to be positive and happy. True. For his son's sake, no doubt. The boy stood there for a whole blah 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 blah. The boy stood there for what felt like forever. But it was only about 5 minutes as he heard someone climbing down the side of the building. "Hey, Molly," and walk over to the side next to him, to stand next to him. Sam looked over to find Squid standing beside him, looking up and around, as if scanning the area. "Hey," the boy said. "Hey," Squid echoed half-heartedly. The boy watched him out of the corner of his eye, curiously. "What brings you down here? You seem to be lonely." The Squid shrugged. "Besides, 2 pairs of eyes are always better than 1. Sam chuckled. "You sure do have a good point there." Squid smiled and shook his head, continuing to avoid the boy's eyes. "So, how's the building coming along?" the boy asked, after a long pause. "Doing great," the YouTuber said casually. You guys certainly were having fun up there," the boy replied. "Yeah," the Squid mused with a small smile. "I suppose you could be right about that." He's slowly warming up to him. Slowly warming up. The boy nodded, realizing that he wasn't going anywhere with the YouTuber. He looked away from Squid and down one of the paths as far as he could see. It seemed a bit empty and quiet, like he was used to. He hoped it could stay like this for a while. The 2 of them stood there for what felt like an eternity when the boy noticed the YouTuber tense and looking off into the distance. "Is there something wrong?" the boy asked, looking up at the Squid. Squid pointed to their right and replied, "You know those guys over there?" I'm not doing impressions. The boy turned to see 5 or 6 figures coming in their direction. The boy squinted to try to get a better look. The small band of people weren't necessarily going too fast or too slow, but they were coming in their direction. "How about I figure out what's going on while you keep an eye on the others?" the boy suggested, a bit puzzled and curious at the same time. The Squid shrugged. "Fine by me. Just be on your guard." "I will, don't worry," the boy said with a small smile before dashing off at a quick jog towards the band of people. It's a lot of people. As the boy got closer, he recognized 2 of the 6 men. One of them was a man with light brown hair and bright green eyes, whom he knew to be Eli White, the man who led the cause in the mission to protect the universe. Ah! The second man was slightly shorter, with darker hair and blue-gray eyes. I constantly try to do that. Like, it's either blue, it's either gray, what? It's blue-gray. And no doubt was Tom, the person in charge of the school. He had only met him a few times, but when the man followed him, he knew it was him. "Okay." "Hey guys," the boy said after he caught up with them. "I'm surprised to see you here." "So are we," Eli said matter-of-factly. "But things have come up and we need to discuss them." The boy nodded and looked at the remaining 4 men, whom he didn't know. "I'm assuming these guys are with you?" "Yes," Tom sighed, not sounding too happy about it. "Do you think we can interrupt you and talk to him in private?" Eli asked. "Steppy might want to hear about this too." "I can ask," the boy said, though he was sure that his friend would be okay with it. The man nodded, and the boy ran over to where Squid and the others were. "So, what did you find out?" Squid asked. "Eli, leader of the cause, is here," the boy explained. "Something has changed, and he wants to talk to me and Stampy privately." "Does it have anything to do with those men?" Squid asked nervously. Sam looked over his shoulder to see the men discussing amongst themselves. Eli and Tom were waiting expectantly. The 4 men were no doubt bigger and stronger, with broad shoulders, overexpressed muscles. "I'm assuming so." Squid sighed. "Let me go get Stampy for you." The boy thanked him as he climbed onto the roof of the building as he watched the group. The 4 men seemed impatient as they watched him, as if he were wasting their time. But Before the boy could deal with the uneasiness welling up inside of him, he heard someone land beside him. He turned to see Stumpy beside him. I said beside him twice in that paragraph. How lovely. You called for me? The cat asked. Sam nodded. Eli felt you needed to hear this. But what exactly is this? The cat asked. Sam shook his head. I guess that's what we're going to find out. Great, the cat said. Let's hope it's good news for once. The boy managed to smile as they walked towards the men. As they approached, Eli pointed to one of the buildings before entering. The boy got the hint as he passed Tom, who looked at him encouragingly and with a hint of sadness. It surprised the boy, but he didn't think much of it as he opened the door and he and the cat walked in. The boy closed the door behind them as he spotted Eli sitting at an empty table, clearly inviting them to sit. The boy sat down next to his friend, fighting the urge to look out the window. So, what is it you want to discuss with us about? The cat asked the man, getting to the point. Sam saw the man swallow and look around the room as if he wasn't sure where to start. I really hate being the one giving you the news, the man admitted at last. This was out of my control. What was? The boy asked, puzzled. Was this the man who was in charge of keeping the costs in line? The man who had everything under control? Well, things weren't so hot after you and Stampy left school. People were furious about many things. One, that there had been a potential traitor in the place that is meant to keep children safe. And another, that you are missing out on school, the man said. What? The boy asked, surprised. There are many people out there who don't think you're really ready to protect YouTubers, especially in such a young age. The man lifted his hand in submission. I beg to differ, but something you're too young and getting a bad influence. I beg to differ. I don't agree with that, but this is what people think. The boy swallowed and looked away over at his friend, who looked just as stunned. So what are they more angry about, me or him missing school? Hard to tell, but there have been threats towards you, Stumpy. Something had to be done, so I had to compromise. How do you mean? The cat asked seriously. Well, those men out there will be Sam's replacements until he's old enough and ready to take over. How long will that be? A year? 2? Sam asked. I don't know yet, the man sighed. And I can assure you that these men can handle this. Sam swallowed, not so sure about that. Will I still be able to talk to Stampy? That depends on what the men decide, the man replied. But, by the looks of it, the extra help is needed. Sam looked over at his friend. Are you okay with this? Not really, the cat admitted. Does it look like I have a choice? I am truly sorry about this, Eli apologized. He stood up, but there really wasn't much else I could do. You did what you could, Sam replied calmly, still shaken by what he'd been told. Too young? He'd saved his friend's life more than once now. How could he be too young and inexperienced? Come on, the man replied, nodding appreciatively to the boy's words. We don't want to keep the others waiting. Stampy nodded as he got to his feet, the boy looking over at him and could see confusion and sadness in his face as the man opened the door. Once they got outside, the boy noticed that 3 of the 4 men had disappeared, leaving a tall, burly man with beady black eyes. The man stood by an anxiously awaiting duckling and a serious squid. What's going on? Squishy asked, seeing the sad look on the cow's face. Stampy, what's wrong? Sam needs to go back to school for the time being, the cat replied. In the meantime, we get 4 bodyguards. The burly man snorted. I guess you could call it that. Where are the other men? Where are the other men that were with you? The boy asked him. They had to make arrangements, the man said simply, not explaining any further. Are you ready to go? Tom asked the boy. Is it okay if I speak with my friends for one moment? The boy asked, eyeing the burly man suspiciously, daring him to protest. He said nothing as both Tom and Eli gave him the go-ahead. The boy walked over to Squid and Squishy first, getting a surprise hug from the duckling. Be careful, she whispered into the boy's ear before pulling away. I will, the boy assured her. He looked over at Squid, who smiled at him. Don't worry about us, kid, Squid said. We'll be fine. Good to know, Sam said with a nod, and he shook the YouTuber's hand. After he was finished with them, he turned to Stampy, who had tears in his eyes. Tears in his eyes. The boy looked up at him and asked, You okay? The cat shook his head. This is so not fair. I know, the boy said, giving him a reassuring hug. It's better than those threats. I'm not sure, the cat admitted. You've done so much to help me and my friends. Sam nodded, pulling away. Just remember, Stampy, I'm always one call away. The cat nodded and smiled sadly. I will. The boy smiled in return, turning to Tom and Eli, who were waiting for him. He took a deep breath and wished his friends well, before walking towards the men. After a moment before he rounded a corner, I'm a little confused. Oh well. He could just about see Stampy waving at him, with the burly man beside him, twice as tall and big than he was. The man had a firm hand on the cat's shoulder, which both reassured and unnerved him. But he knew that he had said the right thing. He would be one call away if his friend ever needed him. That helped make the situation a little more easier. A little bit. 26. If you have any predictions, feel free to mention them. But things are about to get interesting. Compromise. Oof. It's not going to be easy. At all. Stampy watched as the boy turned the corner with the other two men with him. The cat couldn't believe how quickly things had changed. Sure, there had been one attempt by some men from the cause, but they had handled it pretty well. How bad were the other threats that Eli had mentioned? What had caused him to give in to what was happening in order to protect him? Why did he have to take the very boy that had helped him so much? The cat swallowed as question after question hit him, each bringing forth a wave of sadness over him. The boy hadn't just saved his life. He had helped protect his friends, being there for them and helping them through their struggles, just as he had with him. The boy was more than ready. Why couldn't people see that? We should probably get going, the burly man said simply, his blunt tone suggested he would rather be anywhere but here. The others must be ready by now. Ready for what? What arrangements have you made? The Squidderman. Excuse me, Squid demanded, brushing the man's cough. Brushing the man's hand off the cat's shoulder, which he hadn't noticed. He had been so focused on watching as the boy left that he didn't seem to care. The man said nothing as they turned toward the cat's house. Your place is in the center of town, right? Yes, the cat said. Good. The man nodded as he began walking as the three friends followed him. The cat looked over to his two friends, and he felt split. Part of him wasn't sure if he should run back and beg for the boy to stay or hope for the best with these men. He didn't even know. He trusted Sam, but he wasn't sure if he could trust these men. I don't like this, Squid said determinedly after a long silence passed. What about this don't you like? The cat asked. He said, all of it, Squid said in exasperation. At least I knew what we were dealing with Sam around, but these guys, it's all up in the air, and they don't tell us anything. That's because it's not your place to know, the man snapped, clearly listening to their conversation. Squid sighed in frustration, clearly annoyed by the man, but Stampy could see his friend's point. They were being pretty secretive. Maybe that was because they were waiting until they were in a private place to discuss it. Couldn't be a big deal, right? I'm sure things will be okay, though, right? Squid, she said hopefully. The cat knew she was trying to look at this in a positive light. You couldn't blame her for it. This is only temporary, the cat assured them. Very soon we'll have our good friend again. Squid With these guys, I doubt they'll let go easily, especially since there are 3 of us to keep track of. Sam is far more stubborn than you realize, the cat told him. If he knew that one of us needed help, he would come running. Not unless he wants to risk your safety, cat, the man said sharply, glancing over his shoulder. If he steps out of the compass even a little bit to help you, he will break the agreement that we established for your safety. See? Told you it wouldn't be that easy, Squid said, though it sounded more like disappointment than satisfaction. Well, he'd find a way around it, Squishy retorted. He might not be able to go, but he could send him to someone else. The man hesitated for a moment, out of digesting what the duckling said. Steppy and Squishy aired amused glances before the man spoke. We should be able to handle everything without a need for extra help. There are 4 of us, which could take up to 6 men at once. Whoa, Squid said in amazement. But what of the other 10 or 20? The cat asked. They'll be too overwhelmed by our might to care about you. The man retorted. The man snorted. We can handle it. End of discussion. The cat swallowed, not wanting to say any more, and his friends got the message as well. No one said anything until 2 of the men came to them, declaring that the preparations were done. Excellent, the man said. Take the other 2 YouTubers to the guest room. I'll take care of the cat. We can walk ourselves, Squid said. Besides, I'm not going anywhere until you explain yourselves. Me neither, Squid said determinedly. Shook his head and smiled. You 2 will know soon enough, but first you need to give me and your little friend a moment to talk alone. Cat swallowed again, not liking his emphasis on the last statement. Clearly his friends weren't so keen on it either. Whatever you have to say to him, you can say to us, Squid said fiercely. The burly man sighed and gestured to the other men. The cat's surprise and horror as he watched as the 2 men dragged them away towards the house. No need to look shocked, Cat, the man said matter-of-factly, walking over to him and grabbing the cat's arm firmly. The cat attempted to pull away, but the man's grip was strong. It'll only ensure their safety, as well as yours. What do you mean by safety? The cat asked with his teeth, not liking how close this man was to him. It reminded him too much of when he saw Gerald for the first time in months. How about we get you to your room and I'll tell you, the man suggested. Okay, the cat replied, deciding to go along with the man. As long as you promise that you won't harm my friends. I can assure you your friends will not be harmed or threatened, the man replied, hesitating before he began to lead the cat by the arm to his house. The cat tried to pull away, claiming he was capable of walking himself. The man let him go as he led the way to his bedroom. At first, he didn't notice anything off about his room as he approached it. The cat opened the door and walked in, only to realize that something wasn't quite right. In front of him, he could see his balcony, but instead of windows looking out into his world, he found the balcony cut off by iron bars. Even the door was gone. Hester was also nowhere to be seen. I had to mention her because originally she wasn't in that sentence. So, just to make it easier, she disappeared. Don't worry, she's fine now. She's just probably in one of the rooms in Stampy's house. Probably. Then he heard the door to the bedroom close behind him with a familiar click. Behind him. The cat whirled around and ran to the door, finding it to be a heavy iron door. The man stood on the other side, a calm expression on his face. What's the meaning of this? Open the door! The cat demanded. We had to ensure you wouldn't get into mischief, traitor, the man said simply. This is the only way for everyone to be happy. Does Eli know about this? Sam? The cat asked, trying to push against the door. His mind was racing as he struggled to connect the dots. These men had imprisoned him in his own home, separating him from his friends, because they thought he was a traitor. They have no reason to know about this, the man replied. You are out of the way and alive. More than you deserve, cat. You should be grateful. But what about my friends? My world? The cat asked. You can't keep me in here. I can, the man said. Your friends are in similar positions. But if they try anything, they will not be punished. Instead, you will get their punishment. What? The cat asked in surprise. You can't do that to my friends. I can and I will, the man said. We can't have you running around and causing chaos for everyone else. This way, we all get what we want. Not me, the cat whispered, shaking his head. Not my friends. No one cares about what you want, cat, the man snapped. You best cooperate, otherwise you might be dealt with punishment. The cat swallowed. Yes, sir. I understand. Good to see we're on the same page then. I think Mango's a little into it. Might have just moved all the way to the front of the containery then. All the animals just seem to love it when I read stories. They just love it. The cat smiled. Swallowed? Wow, I didn't know there was a swallow. Swallow. The cat swallowed. I've already said that sentence. Now, I'll see you in the morning for further information on what you should expect from now on. For how long? The cat asked. How long do I have to deal with this? Far longer than you think, the man sneered. You'll get what you deserve. Soon enough, we'll ensure you get that. In the meantime, enjoy your time here. You don't want to waste it. The cat watched as the man walked away, feeling himself shaking in confusion and fear. Sam didn't know about this. If he had, he wouldn't have allowed it. Even Eli didn't know. These men were breaking their side of the agreement. He was supposed to be protected, not imprisoned and threatened. So what did it matter if the boy broke their rules? They were already breaking theirs. The cat stepped back from the door, dizzy with questions. What would become of his friends and him now? Would he ever see them again? Would he be alone for the rest of his life, imprisoned by the very men who were supposed to protect him? This was so wrong, and yet, what could he do about it? Stampy sat through 3 days of uncertainty in his cell of a bedroom. The men had informed him about the arrangements that they had been issued. But Squid and Squishy had been locked in the guest room and had not been allowed to see him despite their demands. Even his helpers had been trapped within their homes, unable to see him. The only one he could kind of see was William, who lived right across from him, but till the thought of all of his friends were stuck in cells and unable to leave lest he be punished to paint him. Technically, Polly could see him too, slightly, to be fair. But yeah. Could he do anything? What would Sam do in a situation like this? Could he do anything? Or was he just as stuck as Eli was? The questions never stopped coming. Even though he wished they would. He was already tired of all the uncertainties. But at least he could say the men had left him alone most of the time, except to get into his room to get to the communicator. This was another of those days, same as the last. He went so badly to get out and do something. Finish the build they'd been working on. Play some minigames. Just something for all of them to do together. The cat let out a long sigh. He got up from his bed and paced the room back and forth. What else could he do? Staying still was not possible for him at the moment. He was bored, eager to do anything. Even if it meant escaping the men and going into hiding. It would be better than this, right? But he would be an outcast in his own world. The men still had full control. They had all the power. How could he possibly stand up against them? All of a sudden, he heard someone descending the ladder from the room of no requirement. The cat looked up to see one of the men who was slightly slimmer than the rest of them. His dark eyes met his. He breathed and he scowled. What do you want, cat? The man sniffed. What do you think I want? The cat asked in return. I've been forced to sit in my own room so that you turned into my own room, that you turned into my cell. Unable to do what I want to do. I can't do anything without your say because you can't seem to trust me. You punish my helpers and friends when they've done nothing to deserve this, and you treat me like a prisoner. You know what I want. The man sneered. You know very well that we can't have that. Having you run around freely would jeopardize what we're trying to do. And what is that? The cat demanded. Every part of him wanted to back down, but he couldn't have this. This was too much for him. He needed to do something. Some man approached him steadily, a gleam of anger filling his eyes. You're a traitor, cat. What else is there? I'm not, the cat began before stopping himself. I knew it was no use. You think you can redeem yourself by warning the cause about those men returning? You think you can redeem yourself by helping people you don't even know? Why would they care? All they see is someone trying to get too close, trying to manipulate others to trick them into trusting him, so we can betray them again. It's not true, the cat said, shaking his head. Do you want to know what is true, then? The man said angrily, his voice rising in an angry tone. I don't know why. He came closer to the cat, and Stampy began to take a step back. He did not like how this man was looking at him, uneased by the man's fury, unrelenting stare. You really want to know what we think of you? To know why you're forced to be here? You should be grateful that you're still alive. Otherwise, you'd be dead right now. He shook his head and came closer, cornering him against the iron-barred wall behind him. Please, you don't have to do this. How else are you ever going to learn? The man sneered, now looming over him menacingly. He was so close that the cat could feel the man's hot breath on his fur. I just want to be free to be able to go around my world with my friends, the cat replied weakly. You guys could keep an eye on us. I don't mind that, but please. I hate being cooped up in here. The guy shook his head. You won't have contact with your friends. Not in person, nor be a communicator. This is what you get for putting innocent lives on the line. But I didn't, the cat began. But he was cut off when the man thrust a fist at him. The cat cried out as he dodged out of the way, trying to get away from him. You want the truth, don't you? The man mused. And you still continue to lie to me? Very bold of you, cat. But I'm not lying to you, the cat said, as the man lunged at him, this time tackling him to the ground. Cat gasped as the wind was now momentarily knocked out of him. Tears formed in his eyes as he watched the man standing over him. His feet was in kicking range, yet the cat could not get away. And that makes me want to trust you, the man snapped. Giving you one chance to explore, send you sneaking off and causing trouble. What kind of trouble? Telling someone what you're doing to me? What? Telling someone about what you're doing to me? Cat demanded. His only answer was a hard kick to the middle. Ow. The cat groaned as the man grabbed him and thrust him against the iron board. Oh, that's gonna hurt even more. The cat cried out in pain as his head hit hard metal, seeing colorful lights fish. That's another reason to keep you away from contact, the man sneered, pushing him against the bars, throwing him on the floor. The cat groaned again as he rolled over to his side. He could feel himself shaking, tears beginning to slowly fall one by one. I clearly can't trust you. I want my friends to inform others about what we're doing here. It's their business. It is so, the cat insisted, especially if they knew how you've been treating us. The man kicked him again. The cat struggled to pull away, no longer having the iron wall behind him. The cat coughed and shook his head, tears coming faster until he could no longer control them. We've been doing our best to protect you. We've fed you, hidden you away where the men can't find you, and made sure that everyone is getting what they wanted. I don't feel safe here, the cat countered. I'm not happy being cases like this, being punished for something I didn't even do. The man sneered again and kicked him again. The cat crying out in pain. Could this man just leave him alone? Leave him to spend the rest of his days losing his mind due to the isolation? Wasn't that what he wanted? No one cares about whether or not you're happy. No one cares about you enough to ensure that your allies... Sure that your allies are nowhere near. They can't help you. You have us, and no doubt if I had the choice, I would take you, throw you into the nearest body of water, and leave you dead. See how fast the monsters can get to you if you're unconscious. Or perhaps drown you myself. So, the cat's eyes widened in fear. You wouldn't. If it were my choice, I would, the man said coldly. But we have far better ways to ensure you get what you deserve. But I mean, isn't, the cat insisted. I didn't betray anyone. I'm not a traitor. Don't you go lying to me, the man snapped. The cat Stampy scrambled away, pleading for the man to stop. The man lunged for him. The cat screamed when the man pinned him down, a fury of anger in his eyes. Please don't hurt me, please, the cat pleaded, sobbing as he looked away from the man. Please, the man said with a dark and wicked smile. I believe that's enough, a voice said by the doorway. The man scowled and stood up, walking over to the door at the cat for air, sore with pain. If you try anything, cat, I mean anything, I will come for you and finish you myself, the man warned as the cat heard the door close. 2 pairs of footsteps walking away. It took a long moment before daring to sit up. He groaned as he rubbed his back gingerly as he looked over to the iron barred wall that led to the closed-off balcony. Cat spotted movement over by the cave across from his cell. He could see William watching him. His eyes were full of anger and concern. Had he seen everything? Tears brimmed in the cat's eyes as he shook his head. Slowly, his mind full of unanswered questions that he doubtfully answered. He could see the beaver watching him as the cat struggled to stand up. He could see the beaver gesturing to something that was hidden in the shadow of the cave. And even though the cat didn't know what it was, he understood determination in his friend's expression. The cat shook his head again. I don't know what to do, William. But I don't know if that would work. If we get caught. The cat shuddered. The punishment would be severe. William continued to watch him, no expression on his face. Beaver pointed to where the communicator was located, and back at the cat. There wasn't much of a choice. If they were to tell someone what was going on, he needed to take some risks. There wasn't much of a choice. But would it make any difference? Give me until tomorrow to think about it, okay? The cat offered. The beaver nodded, satisfied with the plan, even though he wasn't so confident to himself. He knew William wouldn't do something so reckless if he didn't think any good would come out of it. Stampy stumbled over to his bed and collapsed on the sheets. He was glad to know someone knew what was happening. He would do whatever it took to ensure the best, but was it worth risking his own life? It had to be. Chapter 27. I'm taking a quick sip of water, because why not? Meanwhile, beyond the lovely world, Sam could be found in the school for kids who were affected by either YouTube or business. He had spent the past few days reconnecting with Brian and Liam, even though it had hardly been a month since he had been gone. He had filled him in on everything that had happened during his relatively short stay, meeting new people and making new friends along the way. Definitely did beat the same old things he now found at school. Sure, he could talk to Dan and his other new friends, but still it was hard to know that he could still be having so much fun in the cat's lovely world rather than trapped in school, because some people for the job. The boy was currently walking up the stairs after finishing his last class of the day towards Tom's office, which was on the 3rd floor. That was where the communicator was located, and he had gone there as much as he could, just hoping to hear from Stampy, but all the answers he'd received were vague and unhelpful. The man clearly didn't think he was old enough to know the adult thing that other people talked about. Annoyed and irritated him. Couldn't they at least give him a chance to prove himself? Apparently not. Sam let out a little sigh as he made it to the 3rd floor, walking down the long hallway towards Tom's office. It wasn't like he hadn't been there before. He was just tired of being left in the dark about how his friend was doing. The man clearly had avoided any chance of him asking to speak with him. It was unsettling. Was there something going on that he didn't know about, or was it just a figment of his imagination? The fact that he didn't know was infuriating. The boy took his time to walk to the end of the hall, not wanting to rush himself. Besides, nothing really changed all that much. So I bothered. Well, he wanted to make sure. And after what happened to Stampy a few weeks ago, he had every right to be nervous. The boy tried pushing all these concerns to the back of his mind, trying to remind himself that this wasn't his fight anymore. The adults seemed pretty sure they could handle it. Let them deal with it. Maybe, just maybe, they'll realize that he is more than just a kid passionate about protecting his friends. He was a hero, friend, even though he was a kid. That was the reason why so many kids here looked up to him, finding out who he was. He wasn't popular, but he was respected. And he didn't mind now one bit. Sam made it to the end of the hallway, hesitating for a moment before knocking on the office door. After hearing nothing, he opened the door and peeked into an empty room. Tom must be at one of his meetings at the moment, and even though the man was okay with him walking into his office at any time to talk via communicator, still made him uneasy to step foot aside. He walked into the room, taking in all the organized neatness as he was used to. There was a desk and chair in the furthest corner of the room, with a couch and armchair by the door. Between these two giant furnishings was a small end table with a white standard communicator resting on its surface. The boy walked over to the device, amazed as to how accessible it was. Then again, you never knew what might come up at the most unpredictable times. It was good to be prepared for anything. Sam examined the device to make sure it was safe to use before setting the same in some fairly new coordinates that he'd had to memorize. Not that it wasn't hard, but some people would have thought it was not all that necessary for him to do. After a long pause, the boy pressed the button to send a signal he wanted. And he waited. Wow. Hang on. He knew it would probably take a few minutes, depending on what was going on. But he had that kind of patience to wait. Besides, it was a needed skill. It seemed like an eternity had passed before he heard her voice crackle through the speaker. Hello, who's this? This is Sam, the boy replied matter-of-factly, presenting himself loudly and clearly. Is Nettie available at the moment? Yeah, the boy stuttered for a moment before clearing her throat. How about I get her for you? You can spare a minute, can you? No problem, the boy said. You guys are busy with something then? Well, it's not really big, but yeah, you could say that. The boy said quickly. She'll be right with you shortly. The boy nodded and said that he would be waiting as he heard faint footsteps fading. It had been the first time he had heard one of the Bush baby's other friends, and it didn't bother him too much. It was good to know that she and Martin weren't alone, and there were people keeping them accountable. Sam leaned back and looked up at the plain ceiling as his mind wandered as he waited. There was so much he could do to distract himself from everything that had been going on, and yet he was willing to take time to talk to some friends he had met in the lovely world. The past few days he had been enjoying those random discussions between friends. Even though they weren't close, he knew that what she was feeling right now, just as he was. Perhaps it was harder now than last time, because there were people purposely keeping him from talking to the cat. Not the uncertainty of it, because he didn't want to jeopardize Sam's safety. Not that it mattered, because Gerald had been hiding in the shadows the whole time. His thoughts were interrupted when he heard a familiar voice through the speakers, resounding through the room as if the speaker was right there in the room next to him, rather than in an entirely different world. It's good to hear from you again, Teddy said. The tone of her voice was that of excitement and curiosity. Even though he had spoken with many of his friends he'd met over the past few months to reconnect, he still managed to communicate with one of his new friends to check on her. Stubby, no doubt, would have wanted that. Well, certainly it's better than standing around doing nothing all day, the boy said with a smile. For the past few days you've been asking to talk to me, she replied. Are you getting tired of it? Nope, the boy replied confidently. The British baby let out a laugh. So, what do you do when you aren't talking to your friends about what's going on in their lives? Some struggling said. I'd probably hang out with Liam and Brian. Here, mostly. Back in the lovely world, there was so much to do, but here, it's basically the same over and over again. It was exciting at first, but things do get old real fast. I'm glad you're doing something you feel is worthwhile, Alice, the bush baby replied. You don't mind? Sam asked curiously. She sighed and chuckled. No, I certainly don't mind. Especially if it's helping. Yeah, it is. Even though I'm not technically doing much. I can't even help Lizzie and Stacy right now with their project. I'm stuck here, on the campus. I'm Freeman, I didn't have a say. I'm not really sure what I could say to that except that you're not wrong about you, she replied. How do you mean? You don't see me as a young, naive, and inexperienced child? Yes, not sounding accusatory, but more hopeful. Probably some people other than his friends thought that the others were being unfair. No, from what I know, you know, she replied. You did help in the rescue mission to help me, didn't you not? Yeah, but I let Stampy take charge of that, Sam replied. You knew what was best. And that was far more than I could say, she said. You knew what he needed to do, and you gave him a choice, a chance to prove himself against those who thought lesser of him. I guess you do have a point, the boy replied softly. Not everyone sees it that way. Of course they don't, she replied. I don't know what to think of you, but you have achieved at such a young age. I'm 17. And a hero, she pointed out. Not everyone your age can say that. Sam smiled with understanding. Yeah, I guess you're right. They didn't say anything for a long moment and pondered about what Bush Baby had said. He may be young, but despite the claims that had been put on him, he still had saved lives. Not just Stampy's or Dan's, but he had trusted what his friend had said, helping to prove that they could make a difference, saving hundreds of innocent lives in the process. But he still felt like the discussion wasn't quite over yet. So he decided to ask the Bush Baby about what was going on in her world. He had last spoken with her, which didn't feel like all that long ago. To be honest, nothing much has changed, the Bush Baby replied, other than a few more security measures that I've already told you about. Nothing all that different. Sam nodded. So you're still not able to have time to yourself? Well, I can sometimes, but never truly alone when I'm doing things for my home and friends. There are always two people with me at all times, except when I go to bed. Then there's a chance someone is guarding my door. We all work together to ensure we're all safe, including me. She sighed. I see the reason behind it, and I get why it has to be this way, but I am getting tired of it. But here's a place where I can at least be alone for at least a few minutes. Oh, good. Things are going well, the boy replied. But there are some sacrifices that have to be made to make sure everyone is safe. I see that now, she replied. But at least it wasn't as noticeable in the lovely world. Not anymore, probably, the boy replied sadly. Otherwise, I would be getting better updates than I am. Give them some time to warm up to you, and maybe they'll let you talk to Stampy, she suggested. If I know my brother, then I know he'll find some reason to talk with you. He knows it's important to you. Nah. I know he does, the boy replied. I've been told that everything is as it's supposed to be. And they can handle it without me having to poke my 2 cents into it. All I want to know is how Stampy is doing, not what the men think he's doing. I'm sure it'll work out, she replied. So long as nothing horribly wrong is going on, you don't need to worry about it, right? Then again, I wouldn't know if there was, the boy replied. They wouldn't tell an inexperienced kid like me. Anyway, what can I do to help? You'll find a way to help people, she replied. Even if it's checking on us now and again. I'm fine with it. Sam smiled. I'm glad. They talked about smaller topics like school and chores and other things for about 5 to 10 minutes until the boy heard a commotion Nettie's under the communicator. I need to get going, she replied quickly after a minute. We have a town meeting in 5 minutes. I can't miss it. Good luck, the boy nodded with understanding. See you later then? Severally. The bush baby agreed, before severing the connection. The little boy welcomed the silence that followed, knowing that somehow things would work out, whether it took days or years to get there. He could wait. He just hoped nothing went horribly wrong with this agreement that had been forced upon him, and that his friend was safe and claimed him to be. Safe as the man claimed him to be. Easy though. I gotta check. Maybe it turned that thing off. Okay. Let's move on to the next chapter then. Chapter 28. Stampy tossed and turned in his bed the whole night, from dusk until the first rays of dawn. As the sun began to rise, he could hardly sleep due to the soreness of his body and the nightmares of what could lay ahead, just one blink away. He couldn't sleep, that was for sure, even though he wanted to. He wanted to forget about all the uncertainty and cautions he had to go through and live forever in his cake-filled dream world. But his mind was not having it. He was exhausted from it. The cat sat up in bed as he groaned, relieved to know most of the pain had gone, but it still hurt depending on where he laid. It was impossible to find a comfortable spot and sleep. He doubted that if the men kept up with their threats and punishment, that the pain wouldn't be going away. He pulled the sheets off his bed and put his feet on the carpeted floor. He was at least grateful that the men hadn't forced him to take off his boots. But that didn't really matter, now that he wasn't even sure if things would ever be normal in the lovely world again. As he continued to look at his feet, wondering if he should get something to eat or walk around aimlessly like he'd been doing for the past few days, how long would he have to wait here, not knowing what would come next? Was he really alone with his friends in no better place than he was? He wasn't sure. Suddenly, his thoughts were interrupted by someone landing on his balcony. Surprised, the guy looked up to find William standing in front of the iron-barred wall. Iron-barred wall. Correction. The cat scrambled to his feet, looking at his friend with amazement. How had he gotten here? Had he plowed his way up, using ender pearl? He wasn't sure. But his shock soon turned to nervousness. He wasn't necessarily scared for his safety. He was for William's. What are you doing here? The cat asked him. You could get caught, and that would mean... The cat was met with an amusing confident smile from the beaver. William then extended a diamond pickaxe and broke through the bars with ease. The cat stepped back with uncertainty. What are you trying to do? The cat asked nervously. He watched as the beaver pointed to him and to the room with no crevice. The cat swallowed. The beaver grabbed his arm and began pulling him towards the opening. No, the cat said, shaking his head. I can't, William. I don't know. I can't do this and put everyone else in danger. The cat walked over to his bed and sat back down, shortly followed by William, who watched him expectantly. The cat sat there for a long moment, not really knowing what to say to his friend. I'm just not sure this will work. So much at risk, the cat admitted. And if what those men say is true, isn't really much we can do, much less our friends. Those men are forcing Sam to stay away, keeping Eli from making things work for everyone. If I told them what was going on, what would it change? I would still be stuck here, afraid and alone, not even knowing if I'll ever see my lonely world beyond here. The beaver put a gentle paw on his friend's shoulder, reassuring gesture. God took a deep breath as he continued. I'm scared, William. I don't want to put my friends in danger. I don't want to cause any more trouble than I already am. I just want a normal life. This isn't what I want. Far from it. I'm not sure I can bring up the courage to take the chance. Cat swallowed as he looked over at the opening from the balcony. He could go with William and hide, but the man could take it out on his friends. But if he tried to send a distress call, someone through the communicator, it might not work. He was conflicted and torn. Suddenly he had an idea. You know what, William? Maybe we can do both, the cat replied matter-of-factly. The men will probably figure out you've escaped and go after you, causing the distraction we need. We can find a way to free the others and get our friends to somewhere place safe. Then you can come back for me when I try to connect to someone through the communicator like Sam. The cat and William both looked confident and nervous, clearly torn between whether or not he should go to his. I'd feel better knowing my friends are safe, the cat admitted. I know it's still a big risk for me, but it has to be worth it, right? The beaver nodded, uncertain but trusting. It was something he appreciated about his friend. William would do his part to help him, while he tried to use that distraction to get help. Whether or not it worked, he wouldn't know until he tried it. But it was certainly worth the risk. It had to be. There was not much he really could do. He was scared, but it was a different kind of fear. He knew that he could find courage from that. You should probably get going. The cat insisted. I'll be fine, don't worry about me, okay? The beaver nodded. He began walking over to the balcony when all of a sudden they were interrupted by someone barging into the room. It was one of the men that had been keeping them prisoner. Sharked! An alarm on his face. Then he looked over at the cat accusingly. What is he doing here? The men warned. Surprisingly, the cat found that he was not threatened by the man's words. Go, William! The cat exclaimed, standing up instinctively as William charged out of the room and threw himself off the balcony. Wah! Someone stop him! A man shouted as he ran to the balcony, screaming for someone to help. But before he too went off to go after the beaver, he turned to face the cat, blocking the iron-barreled wall. Don't you go anywhere, cat, or you'll regret it. You certainly have a lot of explaining to do. Don't worry about me, the cat replied innocently. I'm not going anywhere. Good, make sure it stays that way, the man warned, before tearing after the escaped beaver. The cat waited and listened until he was sure all the men were too busy with William, were cautiously going over to his painting, flipping the lever, even though he doesn't need to, sighted, opening the door. And the cat walked through the painting and carefully climbed the ladder, feeling sore but determined. So far, everything seemed to be working as it should be. William did manage to evade capture and rescue the others. Then it would be up to him to do the rest. Not, then they would all be in big trouble. Sammy managed to get to the hidden room and spotted the communicator resting harmlessly on the table. There was so much that could be done with that machine. It could both save and destroy a life. It could change everything, and now he was using it to hopefully get in touch with someone who could help him. The cat went over to the communicator and reached down to pick up a hidden book behind the table, where he had been told it was. Sam had written down coordinates after talking with Nettie's friends to ensure that the cat could contact people if somehow he wasn't able to. Stampy was grateful for that, because he wasn't sure he could remember all the coordinates and know which ones were put in correctly. Yes, I had to do that. And the cat flipped through the pages until he found the one he was looking for. He sent in the coordinates, checking and double-checking to make sure he put it right before sending the signal and putting the book back in its hiding spot. Gat waited anxiously as moments ticked by, wondering and worrying about his friends. Had they gotten away safely? Were the men still looking for them? How long did he have until the men realized what he was doing? The cat swallowed. His thoughts swirled around in his mind. What if this was a mistake? What if they went nowhere? What would he do then? He wasn't sure. Suddenly, the cat heard a voice crackling through the speakers. A voice he hadn't heard in what felt like forever, even though it was only a few days. He couldn't describe the joy that filled him and how happy he was to hear the voice again. Sam, is that really you? The cat asked, hoping. Stampy? The boy replied, sounding both surprised and excited. Yeah, it's me. It's good to finally hear from you. Same here, the cat agreed, looking over his shoulder nervously. But I'm afraid I don't have much time for small talk. Why, is there something wrong? The boy asked, suddenly sounding concerned. The cat swallowed. To be honest, I'm not sure how to explain it, but I took a lot of risk getting in touch with you. Tell me, the boy replied firmly. What's going on? What are you talking about? Are you all right? For now, yes, the cat said honestly. William had to stage a breakout while I snuck in here. He's trying to free the others to ensure I have more time. Free? Wait, what? The boy asked. Baby. Those men forced us to be prisoners in our own rooms, unable to communicate with each other or do anything other than being imprisoned. I can't even go to my balcony because it's blocked off by iron bars. Why would anyone do that? Sam asked. It's what they think I deserve, to ensure everyone is happy. The cat replied with a sigh. Are you happy about it? The boy asked. The cat shook his head, feeling unwanted tears welling up in his eyes. No, I'm not. None of us are, I can tell you that. But why? It's not what we agreed to, the boy said. Then again, no one really told me exactly what they agreed to. Not even Eli knows what's happening to me, the cat replied. This is how they claim they're protecting me. They imprison me, threaten me, hurt me, and threaten me some more. They say they won't hurt my friends, but will punish me in no death for this turn of events. If they knew I was doing this, if she said that, you want to. Is there any way I could help? The boy asked sincerely. I don't know, the cat replied. There was a moment of silence as the cat waited, knowing that his friend had to be thinking. He really did trust Sam to figure something out. He had to. There was no other way that he would get through this otherwise. I wish I could deal with it myself, but I can't, I replied. Not unless you feel your life is on the line, but I think I can get someone to come to visit and make sure they don't have time to change anything. Really? Who? The cat asked, hoping his voice, something he had felt the past few days. My aunt has a tendency to come unannounced, the voice said with a musing tone. So it wouldn't be out of the ordinary for her to visit. I could tell her what to look for, but... Hey! Look for her, but not tell the men that she knows. That way, we can have another witness. Trust me, Stampy. That would help. I do trust you, Sam, the cat replied. Yeah, you too, Sam. You too, Sam. They won't. Nope. But I really don't want the men to find out that I told you. They won't, the boy replied. But if they do, I know someone will make sure they can't hurt you. If not me, then probably my aunt. She knows you well now. The cat laughed. Thank you, Sam. It really was good to hear from you again. No problem, the boy replied, matter-of-factly. Cat nodded as he tried to think about anything else that came to mind. You're a hero. You've done nothing. Oh boy, this is going to be interesting. You should probably go before the men find out where you are, the boy reminded him. Are you sure you can take care of this? The cat asked. I can do my best, the boy replied. You need that. Thank you, the cat said with a smile. But before they disconnected, he could hear a faint sound behind him. The smile faded as it came closer and closer, getting louder and louder. It was the sound of a helicopter. Stampy? The boy asked nervously. What's going on? I don't know, the cat said softly as he turned to look behind him. But it doesn't sound good. As if on cue, the wall behind him exploded, and the cat was thrust back against a table, crying out in surprise. He could hear the boys faintly... Wait, it's only one boy. So are you. Where were we? The boy, faintly calling out before it died down. His heart raced as he looked at the giant hole that led outside. Familiar black helicopter floating in front of it. The cat watched as the door to the copter opened and a very familiar man stepped out of the copter and onto the floor of the room, kicking away any of the remaining rubble that was in his way. The cat's eyes widened, just about hearing the man's voice through the roar of the machine behind him. Well, isn't this oddly convenient? The man said with a smile. Gerald? The cat asked in horror, the shock of the blast still leaving him shaken. Thankfully, he had been too hurt by the blast, but did that really matter, knowing who was before him now? You seem awfully surprised to see me, the man mused, before looking down at the device with a shake of his head. And at the perfect timing as well. Now, no one will suspect anything wrong until it's too late. How can you be sure I called anyone? The cat demanded, taking the man's assumption to an advantage. If the man didn't think Sam was listening in, he would assume they could take him without anyone knowing. You have to make sure he wouldn't expect anything. Expect. Technically, suspect is a better word for that. Suspect. Beautiful. I can see it in the look of devastation in your face, cat. The man mused, getting closer. Now, where were we? Ah, yes. I have orders to bring you to Mr. A for your ultimate fate. I'm not going with you, the cat snapped, trying to sound braver than he actually felt. The man shook his head. Then who's going to stop me? Your supposed bodyguards? They practically led me right to you. No, the cat said with a cast of horror. You're lying. You know they don't care much about you. You know very well they were planning the way to get rid of you. And this is perfect. Hey, Bible Gateway! Ah! Technically, I signed up for devotionals, but I keep getting the ads in the devotionals. Well, that's sad. I don't know. Maybe they were all moved to April, and I didn't realize it, or I don't know. Something happened and they're not coming in. That's sad. But alright. Let's just keep going. Like it should have been from the beginning, if you hadn't escaped from me. The cat swallowed, shaking his head. You can't. See if I can, cat, and we'll see what comes of it. The man sneered as he grabbed the cat. The cat tried to dodge him, but the cat groaned in pain as he grabbed the cat around his middle, pulling him to himself, making it impossible for him to escape. Please, the cat begged, trying to sound as hopeless as possible, sounding defeated, just as he knew the man wanted him from him. He knew the help would come. Something his captain did not. He's clever. The man leaned closer to the cat and whispered into his ear as he began to drag him over to the copter. This is the beginning of your end. It's enough. You wish you died months ago from that shock collar. The cat struggled, calling for help again, but the man ignored his attempts as the copter's rotors drowned out his pleas. He felt himself being pulled into the copter, watching as the room faded from view as he was tossed into a seat beside Gerald, awaiting to arrive to wherever this awful man was taking him to. But he had hope. That was more than he had the last couple of times he'd been taken by these men. He was stronger than them, smarter. He knew their tactics, knew their schemes. There was nothing they couldn't do to ruin him. At least he hoped there wasn't. He hadn't seen the last of them. A part of him wasn't sure if he wanted to find out what more the men could do to make his life as miserable and painful as possible. His torture, more horrifying and gruesome. He would find out, though, whether he wanted to or not. Chapter 29. Sam stood there in disbelief in front of the communicator as the sounds of the copter faded away and the communicator grew silenced. As the voice stepped from the device, not sure what had happened. It had happened so fast. His mind raced with questions as to what had just occurred. Sunk in. He hadn't expected to get a call from the cat, and certainly been surprised to hear of what was going on with him. This was just too much. This had gone too far. Anger filled him as he thought of those men and what he'd heard from Gerald. Even though the boy knew he could be lying about most things, but man hadn't been lying about those men that were supposed to be protecting Stampy. He'd heard enough from the cat himself to know that was true. Stampy was alone. Those men wouldn't be helping him. But what could he do about it? Conflicted, the boy looked from the device, now automatically separating connection. He knew what needed to be done, but he witnessed what had happened, and yet had been unable to do anything. How could he possibly help his friend alone? The boy closed his eyes, taking a deep breath. He suddenly remembered that his friend had mentioned that William was freeing the others from their prisons. If they had managed to escape, then he could help with this. He had no choice but to help. Now, when his friend was in danger, he had to do something. Sam swallowed as he looked around the empty room, nervously. Would he be able to leave? How would he get away without getting caught? What if this doesn't work? What if he failed to get to his friend in time? What were those men planning to do to him anyway? He wasn't sure he wanted to know. Suddenly, his thoughts were interrupted when the office door opened and Tom walked in. The man stopped when he saw the boy, closing the door behind him. Sam, is there something wrong? The boy swallowed and shook his head, still shaken by the events he'd overheard. Stampy's in trouble. I need to help him. Can't the men do anything about it? Tom asked. Gerald seemed pretty confident that he wouldn't, the boy said blandly. He don't care for him, other than the fact that he's a traitor. They're probably celebrating right now because they're rid of him. Sighed and shook his head. You're absolutely sure? I heard everything, the boy said, unable to keep the tears from forming in his eyes. I can't just stand by knowing my friend's life is in danger. The man nodded after a long moment. I can give you a few minutes to sneak away to the portal. You can? Really? The boy asked in surprise. You're the one who can do this. You're the only one who can do this, the man replied with a smile. I can't stop you. The boy nodded gratefully. What about Ryan and Liam? I'll let them know you're doing an assignment for me, the man replied. The less people know about what is going on, the better. Sam nodded. I'm ready for this. The man smiled again, stepping from the door and gesturing for the boy to go. I'll tell Tony to let you through. Just be careful. I will, the boy said, walking to the door. Thank you. Don't mention it, the man replied as the boy went out of the door, doing what he could to not run. He tore down the flight of stairs until he was at on the third floor. That is incorrect. First floor. That is incorrect. Go out the door, go, wah! Out the door, which plummets down 3 floors. That's not safe. Going out of the door without being stopped, but he was still nervous. He made it outside as he went towards the woods, quickening his pace as he did so. Hi! A voice shouted in alarm behind him. Where do you think you're going? The boy looked over his shoulder to see one of the guards walking towards him. He ran when he noticed another figure coming from the building. Let him go, the figure ordered. But the man hesitated. Tony said it's all right. He's got business for Tom to do. Let him go. Stunned, the boy watched as the man nodded and walked away. The figure then turned towards him. I don't know what you're doing up to, kid, but good luck, the man replied. Now keep going before things get ugly. The boy nodded and without another word began running as fast as he could through the woods. He was going directly for the portal, not thinking about anything else but the task at hand. He had no other choice. He was a boy on a mission, and he wouldn't look back. His friend needed him, and he needed to be able to help him. He would, even if this was the last thing he did. Whew. This scene has been changed so many times, you don't really want to know how many times. Chapter 30. Probably one of the darkest chapters I've ever written. It's definitely not for kids under the age of 13. Not for kids under the age of 13. So if you're under the age of 13, you might want to go now. And yeah. Just gotta make sure. Chapter 30. Stampy woke up slowly, feeling sore and bruised. His memory was a little fuzzy as he opened his eyes, smelling a distinct scent of smoke. The room was dimly lit with torches lining the walls. The cat looked at the plain ceiling above, feeling a hard surface beneath him. Was he on the floor? A cot? Where exactly was he? How had he gotten here? The cat made to get up, but found that he couldn't move. After struggling for a moment, he realized that his arms and legs had been strapped down by leather cuffs on his wrists and ankles. After a while, the cat gave up on struggling, looking back at the ceiling, still catching a scent of smoke. Far more than any torch would emit. Stampy struggled to lift his head to look around the mostly empty room. There was an iron door in one corner, which the cat assumed was locked. And across from him, on the furthest wall, he could see the source of the smoke scent. It was a large furnace that covered most of the wall, with a red-hot flame matching red-hot coals that were steadily warming up, giving a hint of burnt charcoal scent. The furnace was a gray marble, looming ominously in a way that sent a shudder through him. But it wasn't because of the cold. In fact, it was relatively warm in the room. The cat let his head fall back, exhausted by the effort. None of his surroundings felt familiar. Where was he? What was he doing here? Where were his friends? Suddenly, everything came back like a crashing wave as he struggled to process it all. He had risked so much to talk to Sam. He'd been planning to get him out of this mess. It had been, if Gerald hadn't interrupted them. The cat shuddered as the realization set in. Did the furnace have anything to do with his fate that Mr. A had planned for him? The cat swallowed as he felt himself beginning to sweat. The furnace roared with flames, so terrifying, as a plume of smoke and ash wafted over him. How long had this been here? Was help coming? How long had he been here? Was help coming? Was he truly on his own? The cat coughed as the fire died down, shaking its head as the smoke hovered in the room before fading away. Something didn't feel right to the cat at the moment. As he lay there, wondering, his eyes wandered to the door. Would he have unwanted visitors? Gerald? Mr. A? What was there to expect? He didn't know. The cat finally looked away as questions continued to swirl in his mind. It felt nauseating to lay there, not knowing what would become of him. He shuddered as he continued to be tormented by the excessive heat. Burnt charcoal odor. Still, my retainer didn't, so they're like slurring my words a slight bit. Suddenly, the cat heard the click of a lock as footsteps came into the room. The cat tried to look up, but he could only see a figure heading over to the furnace, picking up some metal prongs and rearranging the coal, sending the fire crackling back to life. The figure paid no attention to him as he tended to the flame. Silence. The cat watched, not sure if he should say anything. After a few minutes passed, he heard another pair of footsteps. The cat adjusted his eyes to the door to see a familiar figure enter the room, walking in his direction. It wasn't Gerald, as he first thought, but rather Mr. A, the man who had nearly killed him months back, was the shot caller. The cat shuddered as the man approached, resting his head on the rough cot he was lying on. His whole body felt sore as he struggled weakly against his bonds. Pleasure to see you again, Stumpy Cat, the man mused with a smile. You sure gave Gerald a run for his money. I'm sure I did, the cat replied bitterly as the man loomed over him. I really would prefer if you called me sir, the man said out coldly. No, I prefer you don't use my full name, the cat said defiantly. You don't have that right. I can say whatever I want, the man replied. Then I don't have to call you sir, if you aren't willing to do that, the cat said. The man shook his smile. Getting smart with me, are you? Just tired of you guys taking me and threatening me all the time, the cat replied. No wonder you have such a bad record. The cat man smiled darkly as he chuckled, turning to face the man by the furnace. Is it ready? Just about, sir, the man replied, putting a chunk of coal on the prongs. The coal still glinted red hot, with a spark of flame as he handed it over to the man. What are you going to do with that? The cat asked with uncertainty. The man's eyes gleamed with a look of triumph as his eyes rested on the cat. What do you think it's for? The man replied in retort. This is your fate, cat. This is what you deserve, trying to avoid us. Assure you I will make this as painful and agonizing as possible. No. The cat rasped in horror, his eyes widening as the piece of coal was slowly lowered. The cat tensed, ready for the pain, the burning, searing pulse of fire. How about we start here? The man suggested coldly, as the man placed the burning red-hot coal on the cat. This is fictional. It's not legitimately happening, causing him to gasp sharply in pain. Please, the cat said as he struggled against his bonds. The man did the same again and again, making it more and more than the cat could handle every time. He was sweating, seething in pain, and wanting so badly to scream. All your kind deserves to die, cat, the man mused, lifting the red-hot coal as he watched his victim. Tears fell down the cat's face, hot and sticky. Pain was awful. The cat feeling like there could be nothing worse than this. What did we ever do to deserve this? The cat gasped through pain. The man lowered the cat in agony. Your kind took everything from me, the man said menacingly, his fury, anger, and cold rage apparent in his voice. My home, my friends, my own family. Either burned to the ground or killed with cold blood. But I had no part in that, the cat begged, crying out again, when the man pressed a piece of coal harder against his skin. You can't punish all of us because of one small sample. You're all the same to me, cat, the man said with a low growl. You are liars, cheaters, traitors. All of you don't deserve what Eli is fighting for. You deserve to die. Please, the cat said in a soft whimper. Please stop. Make it stop. Nothing is stopping me from finishing you, the man smiled darkly as he leaned closer. Your allies have abandoned you. Your friends have rejected you. You are nothing more than a traitor, but better without. The cat began, crying out again as the man moved the coal to the opposite side. Excuse me. You know all too well that it is, the man said with an air of confidence. And when I'm done with you, you will be nothing more than ashes and dust, as you should be. No, the cat rasped again, struggling harder against his restraints. But the more he struggled, the more the man attacked him with his fury weapon. And the more he attacked, the more wounds that burned every time he moved. Pretty sure he would be too weak to struggle, too weak to fight back, too weak compared to the sheer power that this man who was more than happy to kill him. He would do it slowly and thoroughly, enjoying every moment of it. Please, no. This is only the beginning, cat, the man said, lifting the cat's chin up so he was forced to look at him in the eye. When I prove that all of my foes, that there is nothing stopping me from destroying anyone that gets in my way. The cat insisted weakly, hating how small his voice was, his cheeks damp with tears of sweat. Not even a supposed traitor will be spared, the man interrupted with a slow-eyed sneer. Not even your friends. Leave me and I'm alone, the cat pleaded, Who's gonna stop me from doing that? The man's taunted. You'll be dead by the end of tomorrow. 2 days after, if you're lucky. If he was lucky. He doubted he would feel lucky after the torment he was forced to suffer already. You won't. You won't, the cat tried, failing to finish his statement, feeling the weight of despair pressing on him, threatening to crush him under all of it. I won't what, cat? The man asked. Your so-called protectors did most of the work for me. Charles finally succeeded once doing something. And now I have you. And I won't hesitate to end you, like I have hundreds of thousands of others before you. Cat shook his head as the man aimed a piece of coal right above his collarbone. Cat, smelling the burnt charcoal, looked away as if it was unbearable to watch. He could feel himself shaking, his open burns agonizing as they took in the horrid air, humid air. He was trapped, alone and afraid. Help didn't come soon. He could die. How did he even know help was coming? As far as he knew, the man was right. He truly was alone, destined to die a horrible death. Ugh. This isn't over yet, Cat, the man replied, bringing the burning coal closer. The cat squirmed, fear evident in his features. He was tired of hiding. He couldn't bring himself to be stronger, braver, bolder. Now when he felt so weak and vulnerable, so insignificant to the greater scheme of things. This was it. There was nothing he could do. Nowhere he could go. Nothing to hold on to. Cat hardly felt the burn erupting, a painful wave filling him. Hardly heard his cries of agonies. All he welcomed was the darkness. Forget about the pain. Leave behind the fear. Don't think of the man who was slowly killing him. He welcomed it like an old friend, remembering nothing more as he gasped in pain, feeling tears still falling down his face as he lost consciousness. Chapter 31. Sam ran through the woods, careful as to not make too much noise, as he neared the portal. So far, he didn't seem to have been pursued by anyone, which was good. Not that it wouldn't matter. He could handle it. Nothing was keeping him from helping his friend. He stepped into the clearing, spotting the portal as he went over to it. As he put in the coordinates he would need to return to the lovely world, he listened carefully to the silence of the woods around him. Once he was confident that he was alone and putting the coordinates in correctly, he took a step back and looked at the glow of the portal emitting particles of color, as the boy gained up the courage to walk through. He wasn't sure what he would find on the other side of that portal, but he would be ready for anything. Sam took a deep breath before going through the portal, stepping into the blinding light as he let it consume him. He felt a sensation of falling as he passed through the other side, lasting only moments before, even though it felt like an eternity as he landed on the middle of a familiar clearing. The boy looked around the area, partly glad he had made it through, and wondering how he would find everyone. But before he could think too much about that, he was suddenly grabbed from behind. A hand was put over his mouth, to keep him from crying out. The boy struggled as he was pulled into the bushes before the person let him go. The boy whirled behind him to see who had grabbed him, to find William beside him, putting a finger to his lips. Shh. The boy nodded slowly as the realization sunk in. The others were in hiding, which meant the men were still looking for them. Suddenly, the boy heard voices on the far side of the clearing. He turned, ducking down so he wouldn't be spotted. 2 burly men walked into the clearing. They're talking awfully loudly. You sure we should do this? The first man asked. Wouldn't someone find it odd that we deactivated a portal? We don't want anyone sneaking through and ruining everything, the second man said. They didn't care for the traitor anyway. Stampy. They were talking about Stampy, which had to mean they knew about everything and still did nothing to stop it. No wonder they wanted to keep it a secret. They didn't want anyone trying to foil their attempts to destroy the cat. They did so in the worst way possible. The boy boiled inside with anger as the men continued laughing and making jokes that they deactivated the portal. And yet the boy knew it wouldn't stop someone from coming through, because he had, when he first come here, there had been no portal in the world at that time that he knew of. Hint, hint. He wondered why the men would think they'd get away with it that easily. He watched as the men walked away, seeming not all too concerned about their surroundings, or the fact that the two people who could foil their so-called plan were feet away, hiding in bushes. The boy waited until he was sure that the men were gone before turning around to face William. "I heard you were giving these men some trouble back there," the boy said, receiving a mischievous smile from the beaver. And the smile soon fell as the beaver looked over his shoulder sadly. "I know what happened to Stampy. Every word," the boy said. "I'm sorry I couldn't come sooner." The beaver shook his head, grabbing the boy's arm as if he was trying to get him to go somewhere. "Do you know where they took him?" the boy asked. "Hopefully. Are the others okay?" The beaver didn't respond as he dragged the boy through the trees and beyond the town, which the boy could see glimpses of. Where was he going? Had William known he was coming and waited for him? The boy tried to ask more questions, but soon gave up and the beaver didn't respond. He was too focused on the task at hand. Like there was no time for questions. Sam followed the beaver as he led them to a secret cave that he had never seen before. Finally let go of him, begging him to go inside. "You sure about this?" the boy asked. When the beaver nodded, the boy walked into the dark cave. It hardly took 2 seconds before he felt arms wrap around him and a tight embrace. "You made it!" "Yeah," the boy said, relieved, pulling away from a relieved duckling. Not too far away was Squid. "William was pretty stubborn about waiting for you," Squid said with a sad smile. "Surprised you managed it." "I had to," the boy replied. "I heard it all unfold, and I couldn't do anything to stop it." "Oh," Squishy said in a startled, sympathetic gasp. "Well, you're here now," Squid said matter-of-factly, as he walked over to the boy. The boy suddenly noticed the remaining 2 helpers come out from the shadows. "So you're all okay?" the boy asked hopefully. "William did what he'd been told to do, but none of us had anticipated what we saw," Squishy said, shaking her head. "We watched our best friend and he's taken away by those men." "Yeah," Squid said grimly. "We know where they took him, but the only thing that stopped us from rescuing him right away was the fact that the place was swarming with men. I wouldn't have been surprised if he went without me," the boy admitted. "Well, you do have better experience with what we're up against," Squid sighed. "Do I have a cold? Or is it just my allergies?" "I know when I have a cold. This is probably just allergies." "It can get pretty bad." "It got pretty bad in March. Beginning of March, I mean. Before the lockdown and all. With, I don't think it was what it was. I think it could have been just my cold. Just got really bad. 'Cause, yeah. But I'm okay. It's not as bad. It's like with temperature changing all the time, my nose doesn't like it, and yeah, eventually when it gets even warmer, my nose is probably going like, "Hey, it's not fun." Yeah. I don't have a cold. I just have allergies. My nose is also just plugged up all the time. I don't know why. But it's plugged up enough that I can't smell. So. "Well, you do have a better experience with what we're up against," Squid sighed, sounding reluctant. "Yeah," Squishy said hopefully. "We need all the help we can get right now." "Also, a great way to prove those men wrong," Squid mused with a smile. "I'm not doing it alone," the boy replied. "Good," Squid nodded. "Do you have a plan?" "Well, distraction is always a great way to get through these men," the boy said with a smile. Squid raised an eyebrow. "What are you suggesting we do then?" It sounded like an offer, a challenge. something he was willing to take up. He didn't need to prove himself to other people that he was capable. He only wanted to do the right thing. So he told them the plan he had. Soon, as finished, he could tell the others were with him on this. He was grateful. They were one step closer to rescuing their friend. Oh, the big sniffy. Sam followed William and the others as they walked down uncharted land in search for where their friend had been taken. The boy had first assumed it would be where they had been during Lindy's rescue, but he had reasoned otherwise. This was not meant to be a trap. It was meant to keep them guessing, hidden away in case people like them were trying to look for it, to ensure that they would keep trouble away. Well, it would have worked if the helicopter hadn't given away their location. Yeah. The boy looked around the wild plains and mountains. Spruce trees scattered about, making it not as clear as to where the men might be hiding until the boy spotted wild spruce forests ahead. That had to be where they were hiding. Where else could they be at that wouldn't be so in plain sight? Sure enough, they managed to make it to the spruce forest, and the boy could see the others were getting more agitated and anxious. The boy couldn't really blame them. After all, he felt the same way. He knew that the longer they waited, the more harm those men were doing to their friend. That thought alone kept them going. They didn't really have that much time to lose. As they walked into the spruce forest, the temperature around them seemed to rise slightly. The boy dismissed it. There were more pressing matters to deal with. They were so close to rescuing Stampy. They had to be. Ready for this? The boy asked everyone. Everyone nodded. As Fizzy, Polly, and William slipped off. Before Squid joined them, he hesitated. You sure you want to do this? The Squid asked the remaining two. Yes, Squishy nodded confidently. We're sure. Squid nodded and looked at the boy. Don't let anything happen to work out it. The boy promised. I'll be fine, the duckling insisted. Squid smiled and nodded, wishing them luck before disappearing into the trees. The boy shook his head and smiled. Come on, we won't have much time to get this done. Is it even possible to get in and out undetected? She asked curiously. I managed to do it the first time, the boy mused. You were lucky, she insisted. Sam chuckled. Luck had nothing to do with it. I was there at the right place at the right time to help my friends. You also had two experienced people with you to help you escape. Not when rescuing Nutty, the boy reminded her. She smiled. I like your confidence. I know what I'm doing. And if things go wrong, then I'll improvise. No one gets left behind, right? She told him. Sam nodded. Exactly. They walked to the edge of the clearing, looking out in their surroundings, waiting for the cue to move. The boy watched as the men in black uniforms walked around the area, chatting and laughing with one another as if nothing was wrong. But the boy knew better. Boy spotted a large building in the heart of the forest, with a few windows. There was one door that led inside. The boy knew that would be their only entry port. Unless he wanted to hope one of the windows were open. Oh, they really didn't want to take his chances. They waited for what felt like hours, rather than 10 minutes, before he heard a battle cry on the other side of the forest. No doubt that was Squid, making an entrance. And a very believable scene. The men jumped into action, seeing the sly Squid running in and out of the trees, sweeping around the branches with ease. Are you sure they won't catch him? The boy asked uneasily. Oh, I wouldn't worry about him, Squid, she said in amusement. He's a slippery one. It's not like he hasn't done before. Okay, the boy nodded, deciding not to go farther. As he saw the opening. Now's our chance. Duckling nodded as they ran to the door, the boy opening it quickly as she slipped through, following shortly behind. He closed the door as he looked around the wild hallway with what? A wild hallway. What do you imagine when you hear a wild hallway? A long hallway with doors on either side. Some were open, and the rooms were empty. Some were shut, keeping intruders out. Where do you think they put him? She asked curiously. None of these rooms, the boy said confidently. How do you know? She replied. All of these doors are dark oak doors. They're too close to the exit. Let's go further, the boy said matter-of-factly. Lead the way then, she whispered, trusting the boy. The boy nodded as the two of them went down the hallway, around a corner and down another. After they rounded another corner, the boy instinctively realized the temperature was steadily rising. Wow, it's getting pretty warm in here, she admitted. We're getting close? The boy nodded, pointing to one of several iron doors. See the smoke coming from the bottom? The duckling gasped. She nodded. Could he be in there? There's one way to find out. Only one way to find out, the boy replied, as he went over to the door and unlocked it. As they went into the room, they were greeted by a wave of heat, smoke, and ash that was coming from the furnace, which had been rekindled. The boy looked around until he found who he was looking for. Stampy! Squishy gasped in horror as she ran over to the cat, who was bound to a cot by his wrists and ankles. He was lying on his back, with his eyes closed, but the boy could only see the awful burns over his friend's body as he approached. Is he? Squishy, the duckling asked, afraid to finish her sentence as tears formed in her eyes. The boy swallowed as he leaned over to check for a pulse, careful to avoid the scattered burns, blisters he could see on his friend's chest and sides. He's alive, but he's weak. She nodded, shaking her head slightly as she wiped sweat from her face. We need to get him out of here. Sam nodded and unclasped the bonds. You want to carry him? Are you sure? She asked, looking out at the cat. He looks like he might break. You can be gentle with him, the boy replied. I trust you. The duckling nodded as she carefully scooped her friend into her arms. The cat emitted a sharp gasp before calming down. The boy could see the concern on the duckling's face. Come on, we don't have much time, the boy replied. Oh, but I think you do, an awfully familiar voice said from behind them. The boy whirled around to see Mr. A standing by the door casually. You have all the time in the world. And why would you care? The boy asked, extending his sword and standing between the man and his two friends. The man chuckled. There's no need for that, boy. Now when you know it's already too late. What do you mean? The boy demanded, as the man approached the furnace, turning the dial as the heat and smoke decreased. I should have expected that you would try to stop me, boy, the man said coldly, bringing up a prong with a red-hot coal. You're committed to your friends, after all. What do you want, Mr. A? The boy asked. Why go to the extent of hurting someone when you know there's someone out there who wouldn't tolerate it? Because you were so far away, I had the perfect opportunity. Taking you out of the picture proved to be the key to complete my mission to eliminate the cat. You haven't won yet, the boy warned. The chuckled chick, he said. I believe I have, boy. None of you will be coming out of this alive. We'll see about that, the boy said as he raised his sword, watching the man draw nearer. He looked over at Squishy. Her stunned face was clear. She wasn't sure what to do. I'll distract Mr. A while you get him out of here, the boy said. What about you? She asked. I'm not leaving you here alone. Do you trust me? The boy asked. Yes, I do, she said with a nod. I'll be right behind you, I promise, the boy said. She nodded. Okay. The boy nodded as he looked back at Mr. A, who looked amused by the little chat the boy, and he stepped forward, moving so he blocked the man's way to the door. Can't save him, boy, the man told him. He drew closer. I tell you, survived the night after the trauma he had been through. Liar, the boy said with a firm tone. You know it, right? The man said. At least you were kind enough not to tell his little friend. The boy looked over to see Squishy, hesitating by the door, look of uncertainty in her face. The boy shook his head, anger filling him. Stumpy will make it, the boy said. He has us now. Ha! The man snorted with a laugh. Not much if you ask me. Wasn't asking you, the boy said as the man lunged towards him. The boy managed to dodge him and send the weapon flying out of the man's hand before turning back to kick the man hard against the stomach, sending him flying back, hitting the wall. The man groaned as he sat up, looking at the boy. Well, you certainly have surprised me with your talent. The boy snorted. Then maybe you should think twice about messing with my friends again. That will never happen, boy, the man said as he got to his feet. You and your two friends deserve the fate they will receive, and you won't be able to stop me forever. Maybe not, the boy shrugged. But I stopped you now. Not yet, the man smiled as he extended his sword and charged the boy again. Sam leapt back and ran out of the room, closing and locking the door behind him as he ran. Get back here, Samuel! The man hollered angrily. Someone stop that boy! Stop all of them! Don't let them get away! The boy ignored the man as he ran around the corner and another before he made it outside to find that things were not going so smoothly as he thought. At Squay, she surrounded by men, while Squid fought to keep them at bay. He could see she was keeping the cat close, frightened but not shaken from her ground. The boy pushed his way through, standing to help his friends. Need a hand? Gladly. Squid nodded. Can you get Squishy and Stampy to safety while I make an opening? I'm not leaving you here to fight alone, Squishy insisted. I'm not alone, Squid said. Helper's at my back. Squishy hesitated as if she wasn't sure. The boy spoke up. You can't handle it. I know it. I feel better knowing you're both. I'd feel better knowing you both were safe. See, even the expert agrees with me. Squid replied. Not an expert, the boy said with a chuckle, pushing two men back with the movement of his sword. One movement on his sword. Don't know if I will believe that, Squid said, raising his eyebrows. Impressed, the boy pushed back a few more men. Suddenly, before any of them could do anything else, arrows, snowballs, and eggs began flying from the tree tops as the men scrambled to avoid the projectiles. The boy took the chance to grab Squid's arm and pull him back, and the three of them ran as the helpers blocked the men from pursuing them. How did you do that? Squid asked, after they'd gotten away from the forest and into town. Stampy and William taught me, the boy replied. Well, what we were planning, but Stampy surprised me, and I wanted to get good at it. Well, that's quite a useful skill, Squid replied in amazement, as he neared the cat's house. Are you sure this is a good idea? You don't really have any other choice, the boy said. Besides, those men will think twice before messing with us. See that? Squid nodded as he ran ahead to open the front door. I'll keep an eye out here while you tend to Stampy's burns. Give me a holler if you need me. Yes, sir. The boy nodded as he waited for the duckling to walk in. She carefully climbed the stairs and went through the storage room, intent on getting to the cat's room. The boy opened the door for the duckling and she carried the cat into his bedroom. The boy noticed that somehow it returned to its original state, not a prison-like place that he'd been told about. Had the men changed it to hide their tracks, or to help them busy fixing their homes? And oopsie. Oh, yeah, letter. Oops, that was. I had to have that. Even Esther had returned to her spot to the balcony, jumping excitedly on her seat. Had the men changed it to hide their tracks, or had the helpers been busy fixing their homes? The boy didn't think about it too much as he pulled the orange covers back to allow Squishy to put the cat down gently, pulling the covers back up before deciding against it. When writing, he did keep forgetting Esther. Esther! Poor Esther. I gotta mention her. There should be bandages and healing potions in the storage room, the boy told her. I'll go get them, the duckling nodded, leaving the boy alone with the cat. Sam looked down at his friend and studied his injuries. Breathing was labored, peaceful. The boy noticed the cat's muscles were tense, as if in fight or flight mode. It wasn't pain. The boy knelt down by the cat's bed. It's okay, Stampy. We're going to figure this out together. You're safe. The boy watched in silence, relieved to see his friend. He hadn't failed him yet. He had proven to Mr. A that he would not want to take lightly. He would fight for his friends. His thoughts were interrupted as Squishy walked in and carried bandages and potions. The boy helped her put it down and work on the bandaging the burns that they could. It took no more than 5 minutes as Duckling pulled the covers to a more peaceful and relaxed cat. The boy watched, and she looked at him with sad eyes before looking at the boy. This isn't over yet. They'll come back. Sam nodded. I know, but we don't have to do this alone. Sure? She asked, hearing the boy's hidden words. Eddie would want to know. The boy said, it's her choice. Duckling nodded and smiled. We really could use all the help we can get right now. Then trust me on this, the boy replied. Stampy needs to be surrounded by friends who care about him, and Eddie would certainly love to help with that. Squishy nodded and looked over at the painting. And tell her, I'll stay with Stampy. See you in a bit, the boy said softly. So he went over to remove no requirements, turning back to catch Squishy's smile before climbing into the communicator to make the call. Okay, chapter 32. Excuse me. Oh, okay. Chapter 32. Oops. Stampy was between unconsciousness and unconsciousness. His mind a blur of muddled thoughts and emotions, with no connection or meaning. It was a place where he was, with no pain, no fear. It was just nothingness. As the cat lay there between the phases of wakefulness and sleep, he felt a desire to know more. Yet, he wanted to stay here in the bliss of peacefulness in his mind. There was no reality or time that could be grasped. Just stillness. Nothing. The cat continued to drift in these blissful thoughts, wondering if all of the awful things he suffered was just a dream. Was this his reality? However, deep down, the cat felt that there was something that didn't seem quite right. It seemed out of place, out of context, a grip on reality. The more he thought about it, the more he noticed that things were changing. The muddled thoughts became clear, but they felt more like sharp knives and fluffy clouds. Memories he'd rather forget, pain he'd rather ignore. He wanted to go back, but before he could change his mind, he heard muffled voices. Voices he recognized. He felt safer with those voices, happier hearing their familiarity rather than the awful things he'd been through. As the cat tried to focus on the voices, his mind cleared of the sharp threat that lurked within. He wanted to wake up. He wanted to see his friends again. He wanted to feel again. Wanted to laugh. Wanted to cry. Wanted to be more than a blissful nothingness he'd experienced. His mind was still a little fuzzy as his voice became clearer. An increase of pain. It wasn't unbearable, but it was still there. He was no longer scared of it. Do you think we should wake him? One of the voices asked with uncertainty. He hasn't eaten since he got out of that horrible place. He is pretty peaceful to me. I really don't want to wake him, the second voice replied. But he does need to eat something. He heard a few muffled movements as he felt someone gently shaking him. He could hear someone calling his name, but he still felt that he wasn't ready. The cat felt a paw gently on his forehead before he heard her voice again. He's a little warm. I'll get a cool cloth while you prepare the food. Don't be long, the second person said, as the cat felt footsteps fading away. Part of him wanted to call him back. He didn't want to be alone. Didn't want to face the scariness alone, but no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't get himself to speak. His throat let himself dry. So hot and cold at once. It was also a burning sensation that stung. He wanted to move, but he was unable to. Was something wrong? Was he not fully there yet? The cat struggled to stay calm as he tried to think of a way to tell them he was awake. He could feel someone taking one of his paws, gently massaging it. Stampy, you need to wake up, the voice said softly. You've been out for days, and everybody's worried about you. Wake up, please. The cat wanted to. He really did. But his eyes wouldn't open, no matter how hard he tried. His lips wouldn't move, no matter how hard he strained. Could he move his fingers, his arms, legs? Could he concentrate harder? Suddenly, he heard a door open. Someone came in. I got it. Good. The editor replied. Maybe a little encouragement will help. The first person chuckled as the cat felt a wet cloth over his forehead. Coolness seemed to ease the throbbing hot cold blast that invaded him. But he wished the burning pain would stop. He's like this. Come on, you can do this, Stampy. Second voice encouraged. The cat tried to do something. Anything. And a few moments passed, though, as the cat felt to the cat it felt like forever. He could feel his mind clearing as he tried to speak. Tried to feel welcoming the growing pain, but right now he needed something. He wanted something. Thirsty. The cat rasped, his voice sounding hoarse and broken. Stampy? One of the people asked. Did you say something? Thirsty, the cat repeated, straining to make himself louder. Squishy, quick, go get a water bottle from the chest, the first person said excitedly. On it, Squishy replied, as the cat could hear his chest opening and closing as he finally opened his eyes. Looking down at him was a familiar face. He couldn't believe she'd come back. Why? What for? Eddie? The cat rasped again as the bush baby removed the cloth and took the water bottle from the duckling. Here, let me help you, she replied softly, as she gently lifted his head, as smooth, refreshing water flowed into his mouth, down his parched throat. It was a wonderful feeling. It lasted a moment before the bush baby put his head back down on the pillow and replaced the cloth. Does it help? Yes, the cat replied, relieved to have something. You aren't feeling any pain, are you? Squishy asked him from his other side. Cat turned his head to see the duckling staring at him, concerned. I'm fine, the cat sighed. You sure? She asked again, not sure if she should believe him. I don't want you to be in pain. I'm okay, the cat replied, not really sure what they were talking about. Pain? The only pain he felt was only his annoyance. It wasn't real. Oh, stop, yeah. So let's get you something to eat, the duckling said as she got up and went over to the table, picking up a bowl of some kind. Is that soup? The cat asked. Mushroom stew, the duckling clarified. Just what the doctor ordered. Doctor? The cat asked, confused. Who's the doctor? Nettie and Squishy gave each other a knowing glance. Finally, the duckling spoke. I know it's not cake, but you weren't strong enough to sit up on your own yet. But the cat protested. Nettie shook her head. Sorry, Stampy. Doctor's orders. Besides, it's better than we call soup. The cat managed to smile as the bush baby lifted his head again. Squishily. Excuse me. That was the first. Squishy carefully helped him drink the soup. It wasn't bad, but it still wouldn't compare to cake. Of course it would. He closed his eyes when he was done, satisfied and full. Cravings in his stomach stilled as he felt memory tug against his consciousness. But it wasn't as threatening. It was good. It made him smile. Was it good? The bush baby asked him as the cat's head landed on the pillow again. It was just good memories, the cat sighed. Then he smiled. That's good. His mind wandered as he drifted back into sleep. His mind still full of questions, but he didn't feel like asking them. He was tired. He was happy. He was safe. 3 more chapters, guys. Technically 4. Technically 4 more chapters. We can do this. I can do this. Yeah. Sam was sitting patiently in an empty clubhouse, waiting for the routinely work that Squid, Martin, and Jimmy were doing. Martin and Jimmy had come with Denny a couple of days before, willing to help in any way they could. Along with William and Squid, they were checking around the house and town to make sure no one was trying to get in. Sam was glad for the help, and no doubt the others were too. He sat in one of the seats near one of the small windows, his mind wandering as he recalled what had happened. The past few days had been full of planning and figuring out what to do if anyone tried to attack, whether it would hit the target, taking advantage of the cat's predicament, Mr. A sending men to finish off the cat, or any of those men who had kept him prisoner in his own home. He wanted to make sure everything was taken care of. Of course, you have to think about the target. Ha ha ha! I'm surprised his target hadn't tried to do it earlier. Maybe he didn't know. Maybe he thought it was just too easy and he didn't really want to do it. You never know. Like, he doesn't want it to be too easy, does it? Does he? He sat there in silence, not sure what else to do. He knew Stampy was getting stronger every day, and he hoped that it would continue. Every minute that passed continued to prove Mr. A wrong. Stampy had survived the night, and was continuing to fight on. He would get better. He would get stronger. He would get through this. He had to. As the boy let his mind wander, he couldn't help but wonder what could be going on right now. Was word getting through about what had happened? What would the men do if they had a chance to get to the cat that they believed to be a traitor? What would Mr. A's men do if they found a way to get to Stampy? Would they really be able to stop every attempt? Or would they be unable to help his friend when he needed them the most? Would he be okay? When he needed all of them, would it really be enough? He wanted to think so. He hadn't heard much about Stampy's recovery. Only that the potions were helping the burns. Slower than it was supposed to, yes, but it was working. But before he could that's a weird sentence. A very weird sentence. Grammarly, where did you go with that one? Let his mind wander any more on what he felt was boredom. The clubhouse door leading outside opened, and the boy looked over to see the Squid walking in, looking around the room curiously. Hello? He asked, as if he wanted to make sure. The others haven't come back to report yet. The boy shrugged. Good, the Squid said in relief. I want to talk to you about something. And come have a seat, the boy offered, gesturing to the seat across from him. What did Squid want to talk to him about without anyone over here? I wonder what that would be. The question remained on the back of his mind as Squid sat down across from him, looking determined and confident. But the boy felt that there was something else behind that posture that he just couldn't see. So what do you want to talk to me about? The boy asked curiously. He wanted to get to the point. After all, Squid was the one who was hard to get to when he first met him. I believe there's something I need to confess, Squid admitted. I made a mistake that I want to make right. Go on, the boy encouraged, nodding his head, forcing himself to be quiet so just the YouTuber could talk. I feel like I underestimated you, the YouTuber admitted. I didn't think you were who you said you were at first. All I could see was a boy who didn't know what he was doing. Kind of like those men back there, the boy asked, clarification. At least I didn't send you away, Squid mused. Though I should have given you a chance. What made you change your mind about me? The boy said. You came back, even though you didn't have to, Squid smiled. You could have sent someone else in your place. Yeah, instead you came instead. That's what friends do, the boy replied. They're willing to risk everything to help a friend in need. Squid nodded, as they do. Appreciate that you were trying to help Stampy in the best way you could, the boy said. I know, but still, you were far more a hero that day than any of us. You knew what you were doing. You gave me that chance, the boy smiled. Squid returned the smile. I certainly don't regret doing it. Sam nodded. A long moment paused before the boy asked, Is that all you wanted to talk to me about? Yeah, Squid said. Thanks for coming back. Thank you for helping, the boy returned. You are a great friend, Stampy. We go back a long way, Squid smiled. He's my best friend, after all. I know, the boy replied simply as Squid stood up. Well, I need to get back to my post, Squid said. So I suggest you go check on Stampy now and again. It'll give you something to do. Well, sir, the nod, as Squid wished him well and left the room. Closing the door behind him, the boy felt relieved that Squid was able to talk with him and be honest with it. It was only a misunderstanding, a clash of expectations. But things were getting better, getting easier on everyone. He was glad about that. A few hours passed as the boy waited, knowing that the morning turned into afternoon by now. Lovely grammar. Whamily, this so whamily. He honestly wasn't sure whether or not he should go seek Stampy and the girls or wait here. What if something went wrong and he wasn't there to be informed? What was best for everyone? He wasn't sure. The boy sat there for what felt like forever as he heard the door suddenly open and he looked over to see Martin walking inside. Hey, being too percent with his mouth. Hey, Martin, the boy replied matter-of-factly. How's everything over there? Out there. Pretty much the same. Mister was a shrug. Seems to me that everyone's leaving us alone. I couldn't find anything suspicious. That's good, the boy said with a nod. Yeah. Martin nodded in agreement. A long moment passed, with neither of them saying anything, until the YouTuber asked, I've been told you've been having the time of your life. You're doing nothing. I am doing something, the boy insisted. Martin chuckled softly. I know that, but aren't you getting bored sitting here doing nothing? Well, I was thinking about seeing how Stampy was doing, but I don't know. I can handle it here, Sam, the YouTuber replied. I know you want to help, but I don't want you to throw your life away. Throw away some time to yourself. Excuse me, whether you like it or not, you're still a kid. You need to take a break once in a while. He's not wrong. Sam managed to smile. You sure you guys will be okay? I don't want to leave you guys alone if something does happen. Like what? The man asked with intrigue. Well, most of you guys are YouTubers, which means that Mr. A could take advantage of that. If you wanted to destroy us, wouldn't he have done it by now? Martin asked. Maybe not, the boy reminded him. He doesn't always like to be quick about things. If he's planning something, he wants to make sure he can get away with it. I see your point, the YouTuber said. No matter what happens, he won't get away with winning what he wants. He wants all the YouTubers eliminated, the boy said blandly. He won't have that, Martin said with a knowing smile. Squid, Jimmy, and I have come up with a plan to ensure that we're all accounted for. If something goes wrong, we'll let you know. You sure? The boy asked. Positive. The YouTuber said with absolute certainty. Okay, the boy said with a smile. Then maybe I can spare a few minutes to check on the others. Take all the time you need, the man encouraged. I can handle anything that happens. Just trust me. I do, the boy replied, standing up from his seat. You should probably get back to your post. The YouTuber laughed. I will. I just want to make sure you do take the time to relax. I suppose it's fair, the boy said in amusement as he headed to the stairs. See you in a bit. I certainly will, the YouTuber replied with a wave. The boy returned it as he went down the stairs, finding his way through the house to find the cat's room. In no time, the boy found the bedroom. It took a moment to peek in. He couldn't help but notice how quiet the room was. Squishy and Nettie were sitting in chairs by the cat's bed. talking quietly to each other while Stampy slept peacefully in the bed, undisturbed by the two girls' conversation. The boy hesitated for a moment before opening the door and stepping aside. The girls looked up immediately as he entered. Mind if I drop in? The boy asked as he closed the door behind him. No, of course not, Squishy replied cheerfully. It's good to see you dropping it by to check on us. I'm sure it is, the boy said with a smile. You two doing all right? We're good. Squishy, Nettie said quickly but simply. Everything all right with you and the others? Nothing too out of the ordinary, the boy shrugged. I'm more surprised that the target isn't trying anything with the obvious opportunity. Maybe he doesn't know, Squishy shrugged. I don't know about that, the boy said skeptically. Maybe it's something he doesn't want to risk, especially when there are two possible groups of people who would love to get to Stampy. Whatever the reason, I'm just glad he's not making it any harder on us. After all, our friend is still going through recovery, Bush Baby said before looking down at the cat, who didn't seem to notice or care about the conversation that was going on around him. How is he? The boy asked quietly, looking down at the cat, noting the damp cloth beside the bed. He's getting stronger, Squishy said gently, though it's hard to tell how much he still needs to recover from. He did manage to stay awake long enough for us to give him something to eat, Nettie added overly. Still not strong enough to sit up on his own, much less walk. But it's an improvement, the boy said positively. Sure is, Stickling said with agreement. The boy nodded as he looked from the cat to the ladies, who were both eager for something more. Because when I have a break, I can stay with Stampy for a while, the boy suggested. Really? Nettie asked. You sure? Good, she asked with uncertainty. You guys look like you need it from the past few days, the boy said. Get some rest. I have some fun. I'll take care of things here for a while. What about you? Nettie asked. Shouldn't you be the one having a break? You've been working harder than any of us. It's because I want to make sure my friend is safe. As I'm sure all of us do, the boy said matter-of-factly. Yeah, but you're still a kid. Should you be having as much fun as you can? Squishy asked. Sam smiled. Doesn't mean I don't ignore my responsibilities. He looked down at his friend and added. Besides, I made a promise to Stampy a while ago that I would help him no matter what. That is good, Duckling replied slowly. But you really do need a break. I don't mind if you take a night shift once in a while, but you do need time off. I agree, Nettie nodded. Even though we all would like a break, we'll need to find something that works for everyone. What do you suggest? The boy asked her, most definitely intrigued. Well, I could stay here for the rest of the day, and we can decide who takes each day. Then we need to figure out night schedules. It really would be helpful for all of us. You sure? Squishy asked. You've been here watching Stampy longer than any of us have, the Bush Baby said. You teeny need to relax. I'll get my break soon enough. The boy smiled and nodded. I'm sure Polly and Finty would love to lend us a hand as well. That's good, Nettie replied. We could use all the help we can need for that. All right, she said as she stood up. She looked over at the boy. So what do you suggest we do? About finishing that build you guys never completed, the boy suggested. She smiled. That leaves the inside. That sounds like fun. See you guys in a bit then, the Bush Baby said cheerfully. Just let someone know if something's wrong or seems wrong or out of place, the boy reminded her. I will, she nodded. Just be careful, okay? Don't worry, Squishy replied. We'll be careful. Okay, the Bush Baby said with a smile, as the duckling and boy went for the door. Have fun! The boy waved as he walked out of the room, leading the way out of the many exits of the house. The duckling wasn't too far behind, seeming to be eager and excited to do something. So, I'm guessing you like decorating? The boy asked her, as he opened the door for the duckling. It can be fun, she said with a smile. I need to do something, even if it's considered work. It's still a break from what I have been doing. I suppose you're right, the boy replied. Yeah, she said. I just hope everyone will be okay while we're doing this. They'll be fine, the boy assured her. If you're sure, then I guess it just might be fine. She said. You have a right to be concerned, the boy said. I know I can trust our friends to do their best. That's all I ask. I trust them. I know you too. You too. I do indeed, she said. It's hard sometimes to do that, though, especially after we saw Stampy after that. The boy noticed her shudder, refusing to finish the sentence. He didn't blame her. It had been horrible what Mr. A had done to their friend, but he knew they would get through it. they would be easily defeated. This was a fight that was worth fighting for. Here we go into another nightmare. Just a disclaimer, is a nightmare. Though you'll figure it out soon enough anyway. Stumpy was trapped. Chapter 34. He couldn't move. He couldn't see. And it seemed as if he was falling. It didn't make sense. Nothing made sense. He didn't know where he was, or how he had gotten there. He felt alone and helpless. Yet, it seemed as if he wasn't alone. Slowly but steadily, the cat could feel a wave of heat crash over him, sweeping every part of him in a cold sweat. He shivered and struggled, wanting to get away from it. It wasn't good. His subconscious knew that. He couldn't get away. He couldn't run anymore. Heat slowly seeped into his skin, suddenly turning into a sharp burning sensation, burned red hot in his vision. He cried out in pain as it grew and grew, his cries growing weaker and weaker as he heard a frightening familiar voice. Did you really think you could get away from me? The voice taunted. Did you really believe your friends could stop me from finding you? You're mine now, and I assure you that you won't be able to do anything to stop me. Not you or your so-called friends. No, the cat said softly, shaking with every growing pain that was burning into it. That was weird. On every side, he smelled smoke and ashes. Was there a fire nearby? What was going on? What was happening to him? Was this real? There's no hiding from the truth, cat, the voice said darkly as the pain grew more and more. Cat struggled, but he was trapped. You'll finally get what you deserve. Please, the cat cried helplessly. Please don't do this. What did I ever do to deserve this? Dang, the voice rasped, chuckling to himself as he said it. The pain intensified until the cat could see nothing but red-hot flames. He screamed, pleading for the pain to stop. But the pain did not stop, nor did the flames in his vision die down. His throat was getting hoarse from screaming, his mind in a panic as he tried to think of something, anything to do. What could he do? There's no reason to struggle, cat. The voice replied, it'll be over for you soon. No, please, the cat pleaded. Thank you. Sobbing in vain. Make it stop. Please, make it stop. It's too late for you now, Stumpy Cat, the voice said in cold amusement. You've already lost. You'll be nothing more than ashes, from which you should have become. No, the cat said, choking from the snow. Milk, ash, tears. Please don't do this. Make it stop. I will not stop until you're dead, Stumpy, the voice said slowly, turning from calm satisfaction to cruel chuckle. I will finish what was started. I spit. How dare I? No one escapes from me alive. The pain burned more intensely as he screamed again, pleading for it to stop, but there was no relenting. No stopping the horrible torment that he was enduring. Was he truly alone? Where were his friends, his helpers? Were they all dead too, just like he would be? Was it finally his end? The cat screamed too as he felt what felt like 1,000 burning coals upon him. His unbearable weight. As he heard faint laughter, he felt his life draining away. He could feel the helplessness growing. He was hopeless. Suddenly, he could hear someone calling his name. He didn't notice it at first, but it soon felt like he was being shaken. He struggled and pleaded, wanting it to all be over. Stumpy, wake up! A voice called again. It was stern but desperate. A sound he recognized. A voice that made him feel safe. That's an extra space. But he couldn't place how he knew it, or he heard it. The cat felt the pain increase as another taunting voice seemed to whisper in his ear. Can't escape fit for long, cat. I will find you. I will make sure you can't get away from me again. You will get what you deserve, not only as a traitor, but as a YouTuber. No, no, the cat whispered weakly, the pain stabbing into him like knives. Make it stop, please, make it stop. Stumpy, The familiar voice cried again. Shaking, the sensation grew as the voice grew louder. Please wake up. You're scaring me. The cat struggled again, and he could feel arms wrap around him as he gasped in surprise. His eyes opened as tears fell down as he threw himself against whoever was holding him. He sobbed, awake and frightened. It's okay, Stampy, the voice said gently, rubbing his back gingerly. Just a nightmare. It's okay. You're okay. The cat swallowed as his sobs steadily slowed, finally letting out a sigh, looking up to find that he was in his bedroom. The sky was dark, with twinkling stars, and a bright moon shone from his window. How long had he been sleeping? How had he gotten here? Why was he in so much pain? He pulled away as he leaned against the headboard as he wiped tears from his eyes. Standing beside him, the bed, was the familiar face of a yellow duckling, her ocean blue eyes full of concern. Gracie? The cat whispered, too afraid to speak above that. He was shaken, stunned, and pain from down his chest around his middle throbbed with intensity. Are you okay? She asked softly, kneeling down so she was eye level with him. I don't know anymore, the cat admitted shakily. Are you in pain? I know hugging you was probably not the best idea. Wasn't probably the best idea, but I didn't know what else to do. That is a really weird thing. What did you do? Yeah. She replied. The cat noticed tears in her eyes before she looked away. Yes, please. The cat nodded slowly, not sure what else to say. This has never happened to him before. Not like this. The square she nodded as she stood, walking over to the chest and taking out a healing potion. She came back over to the cat and leaned out. Drink this, it'll help. Promise? The cat asked. I promise, she assured him softly, and the cat let her put the bottle to his lips as he drank it. Immediately, the pain stilled, being washed away as he sighed in relief. Stampy leaned back again as he took a deep breath, trying to remember what had happened. Everything seemed so fuzzy. He remembered Gerald taking him into the helicopter. Remembered how he'd risked so much just to talk to Sam. He remembered pain, heat, ashes. It seemed to reconnect. What happened to me? The cat asked. How did I get here? How am I alive? The way she swallowed it as if she wasn't sure she wanted to talk about it. Don't remember? I remember bits and pieces, the cat replied, but everything's just fuzzy. She nodded, wiping away straight here. You almost died, Stampy. Mr. A was doing horrible things to you. I can't explain it. I saw without breaking down. It was horrible, the cat agreed. So that nightmare was entirely a lie. It was horrible to watch you screaming and struggling, she admitted. I tried to wake you up, but you wouldn't. You sounded like you were in so much pain, and I couldn't stop it. The cat swallowed, seeing the concern turn to fear in her eyes. I'm sorry I scared you, the cat said apologetically. There's nothing to apologize for, she replied. Certainly gave you the strength to sit up. The cat smiled weakly. Left me exhausted, though. Want me to help you lie down? The duckling offered, leaning down to help him. No, I'm fine, the cat insisted as she ignored him and helped him lay back down against the pillow, peppering it so it wasn't easier to sit up. Is that better? Yeah. The cat nodded. Then he smiled. Yeah, much better. They sat there for a long moment as the cat looked up at the ceiling. He couldn't believe how much he'd been through in such a short amount of time. How long have I been on bed rest? The cat asked. A week and a half now, she said. We woke you up a few times to feed you, but now you've been sleeping rather nicely. I guess my body needs to recover from all that. In my mind, the cat said. Is this the first time that's happened? Nightmares? The duckling asked. The cat swallowed and shook his head. I've had nightmares before, but none more this bad. He sighed. Did suffer nightmares after my first meeting. Near-death experience. That sentence definitely doesn't make sense. It was Mr. A. And nightly nightmares been imprisoned by Gerald. Did you tell Sam about them? She asked. The cat shook his head. It really didn't seem all that important. Not like you could have done something to stop them. Oh, I'm glad you told me, she replied. No wonder Barnaby slept with you every night. I thought it was because he was scared to sleep alone, the cat said. She smiled. Perhaps that's only part of it. The cat nodded, feeling a wave of contentment. Is Barnaby sleeping in the doghouse? Yeah, we wanted him to keep an eye on the other dogs in case a target tried to attack, she replied. Why? I would really like him back in here, if he wants to, he said, especially when I don't have other people watching me in my sleep. She chuckled. You feel safer with him around, don't you? I think Gregory, my first dog. He's the one who's been with me the longest, the cat sighed. I don't want to lose him like I did with Gregory. I know you miss him, she replied, but I can definitely see if Barnaby sleep here each night as well. He's great at getting help if you ever do need it. Yes, Shabby smiled. Exactly. She smiled in return. I'm glad you're doing better. I'm glad you guys didn't give up on me, Cat replied, looking at her with joy swelling inside of him. I care about you, she admitted. Maybe more than just a friend. Cat smiled wide. I feel the same way. Tears brimmed in the duckling's eyes as she leaned over and gently kissed him on the forehead. Get some sleep, Tappy. You need it. What about you? The cat asked. I'll be right here when you wake up, she said. I think a few more days you'll be able to have cake again. Cat's eyes gleamed, feeling eager and excited. I can't wait. And as you fall asleep, as soon as that day will come, she told him encouragingly. The cat nodded, his eyelids were heavy. Good night, sweet dreams, Tappy, she replied gently, helping him fall against his pillow. The cat could barely feel her wipe away loose fur out of his eyes as he fell asleep. He hoped he would have better dreams. And again, knowing he was safe, free, with those he cared about, he could sleep without fear, without worry. Just after all, he wasn't doing this alone. 35. Yeah, a couple more chapters left. A few days had passed, and things seemed to be looking better for everyone. Steppy was now strong enough to sit up, and even walk with a little bit of help around his bedroom. Most of the time, the burns had been healed. However, there were more serious ones that were still healing. It might be a month or two before they would be entirely gone, but it was a good sign that things were looking better for all of them. The boy was guarding the doors that led to the bedroom, knowing that pretty soon the cat would be able to do some of the normal things he building and playing games. The boy was more than eager for that. It would certainly make the days a lot more exciting and memorable. The boy quietly looked around the empty room that was before him, his mind starting to wander. He had seen his friend and spoken to him for a short time once or twice, but he had never really been alone to do that. Not that he didn't mind, but he just wanted some time with his friend, but understood that the cat wasn't ready for that quite yet. Suddenly, his thoughts were interrupted when he heard the door open and watching Nettie walking out. She smiled at the boy, giving him a cheerful greeting. The boy returned the greeting as he watched her walk towards the storage room, probably to get some more supplies. The boy looked into the room to see Squishy helping the cat head over to the balcony, and the boy could see a look of determination on the cat's face. He looked stronger. Most of the bandages were gone. The boy didn't know better. He'd think that there was nothing wrong. But as the door opened, he noticed the cat hesitate. Watched as the duckling whispered something into the cat's ear, for the cat nodded and let go, walking on to the balcony by himself, grabbing the fence that prevented one from falling off the edge. Squishy looked up at the cat for a moment, before going over to stand beside the cat. The boy watched the two of them talk, curious as to what was going on. Pretty intriguing, isn't it? Nettie said from behind him, causing the boy to jump in his back. Yeah, the boy said, quickly recovering from a startle. He's gotta be used to it by now. Poor boy. Do you know what they're doing? Nettie smiled. She's spending time with him. What else? The boy wasn't sure if he should believe her statement. There had to be something going on. Are you guys planning something? Squishy and I had an idea to give him a surprise. She's doing so well. We have the helpers involved. What kind of a surprise? The boy asked curiously. Then his smile widened as she pulled him from the door before whispering into his ear. The boy's eyes widened, standing and nodded. We were planning tonight. But since he's returning and all this... Return? But since his routine isn't that stable yet, decided to do it within a couple hours. Is there any way I can help? The boy asked. Nettie smiled. Make sure they get to the clubhouse safely when the sun is out the middle of the sky. Noon, you mean? The boy asked. She chuckled. That's how she wanted it. Ah, the boy nodded, understanding. So this is a special night for both of them. I hope so, Nettie replied. I'd hate for someone to take the advantage of this and ruin it. That's what the guys are here for, I guess. The boy shrugged. Make sure that doesn't happen. He wouldn't let anything happen to any of us either, she replied considerately. That's true, the boy nodded. You best get ready. I'll do my part. I knew you would understand, she smiled excitedly. Thank you, Sam. Sam nodded and returned the smile. No problem, Nettie. He watched as she walked away, heading towards the direction where the clubhouse would be. He couldn't help but smile. It was an effort to celebrate a victory, to make the day special, not just for Squishy and Stampy, but for them all to always remember, but for all of them as well. Couldn't wait to see what would unfold, and hopefully it really would be as amazing as the girls clearly wanted it to be. They deserved a small victory. It was worth it. A couple hours passed as the boy followed his two friends as they walked around the lovely world, looking at everything that had been built in the past. On the path that Squishy had designed to give her friends enough time to prepare for the wonderful surprise. The boy didn't say much during his journey, letting his friends talk as they made sure there were no lurking threats. Wow. Lurking. Seriously. On the horizons. So far, it seemed to be clear. The boy looked around the area, not really paying too much attention to the conversation that the two friends were having. It was a cute moment, and he didn't want anything to go wrong. The boy's head turned towards his friends every time he heard the cat gasp with surprise, or chuckle at whatever his duckling was saying. He was having a good time, which made the boy happy. It certainly was good for him to get a chance to get outside after 2 weeks of being stuck in bed. So where exactly are we going? The cat asked at last. No doubt he was getting curious about what was going on. After all, he knew his way around the world better than anyone else. Certainly he would suspect something was going on. No, Ed's taking a nice stroll with friends. You're not getting tired, are you? No, I'm fine. No, I'm fine, the cat replied quickly. This is amazing, though. Now you're doing this. You're my friend. I want the best for you, she replied. Besides, you need to get outside after being cooped up for so long. The cat chuckled and nodded in agreement. No, I suppose going on wouldn't hurt. I won't push you too hard, Squishy insisted. I'm fine. I made it this far, didn't I? The cat reminded her. The duckling nodded as they passed another neighborhood of buildings, going around the corner, back to the house, and eventually the clubhouse. They walked on for what felt like an eternity as the two friends continued their small talk. The boy continued to be alert and aware of his surroundings. How did he even know something would happen? It could, but it meant nothing unless it actually happened. It actually did happen. Nothing had happened since they had rescued Deppy. Even though it made sense to relax a little bit, he was still uneasy. Suddenly, his thoughts were interrupted when he heard the cat call him by his name. Sam looked over to see the cat looking in his direction. You seem pretty quiet so far today, the cat replied. Is there something wrong? Oh, no, of course not, the boy said quickly. Just letting you guys do all the talk. Okay, the cat said slowly, unsure of what the boy meant. The boy heard the duckling chuckle before changing the subject to the cat's future plans for his world. As they were nearing the clubhouse, the boy noticed a curious look on the cat's face. Clearly, he was starting to realize where they were going. What's going on? The cat asked. What have you guys been planning? Squeaky smiled his mirrored answers. Oh, something special. What exactly? The cat pressed on. You'll see, the duckling said cheerfully. The cat looked over at the boy. Do you know anything about this? It was him, shrugged, dreading not to answer the cat's question. But he knew that keeping it secret until the last possible moment would prove to be incredible. Stampy. The cat let out a frustrated sigh. A smile remained. He continued towards the clubhouse, and the boy could see the duckling barely containing his excitement. Ah! They came to the door as the boy went ahead to open the door for them. Duckling and the cat thanked him as he opened the door, hearing a shock of amazement from his friend as the cat entered. The boy followed shortly behind, closing the door after him. He watched as Squishy pulled the cat over to one of the tables and helped him sit down. Nettie walked over to them, carrying a plate of something that smelled sweet and familiar. Did you guys do this all for me? The cat asked in disbelief as the bush baby put the plate on the table. Of course we did, Bush baby smiled, looking at the Squishy, who nodded. Go ahead, Duckling said, gesturing for the golden brown and sickly frosted cake that was before him. You didn't have to, the cat whispered in amazement, hesitant at first to eat the cake. You deserve this, Squishy said, putting a hand on the cat's paw. You've come so far to get where you are at today. We all want to celebrate that. The cat nodded and looked over at the boy. You knew about this? They told me only a couple hours ago, the boy replied. But she is right. This is something to celebrate. The cat smiled and looked down at the cake. How long has it been since I had your cake? Far too long, Nettie replied, receiving a chuckle from the cat as he ate the cat slowly and considerately. No doubt he treasured and enjoyed his bite. After the cat was done, he leaned back against the seat, allowing a content sigh. The boy watched as the bush baby snuck over to the DJ booth and put on some music, getting Squishy to stand up and offer a hand. Want to have a dance? She asked the cat. What? The cat asked in surprise. Me? Who else would it be, Stampy? She said cheerfully. The cat laughed and took her hand as she helped him to his feet. The boy watched as they began to dance to the music, smoothly and slowly, as two friends could. The boy walked over to Nettie, who was smiling to herself. Would you say this is perfect? She asked the boy, looking at the couple. Just look at them. Sam smiled. I would say so. They look good together. She chuckled. She looked so happy. The boy nodded. How did you know they were together? She chuckled. I knew for a while. She just didn't admit it until recently.
Dinner time.
Okay. Gotta finish this chapter. Sam smiled. It's good to know that they're finally happy. I think this is the moment none of us will forget, the bush baby said, brushing a straight hair out of her eyes. The boy nodded. We couldn't agree more with the bush baby. It's definitely a moment to remember. You sure you don't want to have a round? The boy offered softly. No, I'm fine, she said. Someone needs to keep the music going. You sure? A voice asked over by the door. They looked over to see Martin walking over with a sly smile on his face. I'm sure Sam can take care of the music. The surprised bush baby looked over at the boy and over at the YouTuber, who held out his hand. The boy watched in amusement as she took his hand, and the man led her away to dance. The boy smiled and stood by the jukebox, making sure there was music playing as his friends danced. Precious moment that they would soon forget. Fortunately, we're going to have to stop there. No, it's not the finale. We have